Here.
As are we.
As I'm Bill Hermann, this is John Young, that's Jason Jones, and we're going to be your hosts for the Disc Jockey News Virtual Expo.
Yes, the world's first online virtual convention, and we're really excited to be a part of it, and really excited to bring it to you.
This is going to be an incredible 2 nights of information that you won't find anywhere else.
2 nights?
2 nights. Tonight is Monday night, and
so we're doing a sleepover.
We are.
I didn't bring my jammies.
Tonight.
Our first video today is Mike Walter. If you don't know who Mike Walter is, first of all, you should. He's one of the greatest disc jockeys I've ever met in my entire life.
And he's also good at other things too. He's got a really informative piece. You'll find him. He's a writer for the Disc Jockey News, and I hope you really enjoy this, as we thought this was really good to start with.
Yeah, this is Mike Walter and Prompting the Crowd.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from Elite Entertainment, and today I'm coming to you from in front of a video screen. Why am I doing that? Because I've got a lot of video clips that I'm going to work into this lesson to give you some hardcore examples of what we're talking about. And what we're talking about today is prompts and prompting the crowd. And when I say that, what I mean is anytime that you as the MC asks the crowd to do something to kind of fill in one of the breaks of a song or to peak the energy at a party, that's what I consider prompting. And nowadays, I believe prompting is more important than ever, and that's why it's an art that you really want to work on and try to perfect. And the reason why I say that nowadays is because think about it, especially at a wedding, bar mitzvah, that type of thing. After the introductions are done, after you prove yourself as an MC for the introduction, there's really only 2 ways that you are going to stand out at a party as an MC, that people are going to hear your voice, see you interact, and really be impressed by you. The first way is audience participation. Those are the dances that we do, the line dances, the electric slide, cha-cha slide, the YMCA, the chicken dance, any of those audience participation type songs. And then the second way is prompting. Unfortunately, I don't know if you're finding this, but we're certainly finding it, more and more clients don't want audience participation at their party. So that takes a big chunk of what we can do as MCs out of our toolbox, and it leaves us strictly with prompts and prompting the crowd at parties. So like I said, I'm going to show you some examples as we go along and talk about how you can incorporate these and how you can be a more effective MC. But before we get to some video clips, I just want to make this point. Prompting does 2 things at a party. We're going to see some hardcore examples. It peaks the energy. It brings the energy up a little bit. It creates moments. It creates memorable moments at the party. But, and don't take this for granted, for a moment, you're subliminally putting the spotlight on you as the MC. The guests at the party are hearing your voice. They're seeing you interact with the crowd. And instead of coming away from your party saying, wow, that was a great party, they now say, wow, that was a great party because of that MC. So never take that for granted. These prompts, it's not like you're stealing the spotlight from the bride and groom or from the guest of honor, but for a moment they do put a little bit of the spotlight on you, and that's a great thing at a party. Okay, so when we talk about prompting, there are really 2 basic types of prompts. The first one is hand clapping. And usually as an MC, you use a hand clapping prompt to fill in a break of a song or a spot in a song where the energy might go down a little bit. This first clip we're going to see is one of our DJs, one of the Elite Entertainment's DJs, Peter Zanetti, during Love Shack. Now, as you know, late in the song Love Shack, there's that really long break and the energy kind of dives out. So instead of allowing that to happen, Peter gives a nice hand clapping prompt and he maintains the energy at the party. Let's take a look.
All right, clap those hands on the dance floor. Put them together. Nice and high. Put them up.
So obviously there are a lot of rock and roll songs that have breaks like this. Old time rock and roll, great example late in the song. Moni Moni, Billy Idol's version of Moni Moni has multiple breaks like that you as the MC can use to fill in some hand clapping and maintain the energy. But hand clapping is not just for rock and roll songs. You can do it during club songs, during dance songs. A lot of dance songs have a break where if you're mixing, you can mix out at the break, but if you choose not to beat mix out of it, that's a great opportunity for you to fill in that gap as an MC and maintain the energy. So we'll watch a clip next. One of our DJs, Davide, and Party Rock Anthem. He takes the kind of the break of Party Rock Anthem where the energy would have gone down. He gets a hand clapping prompt and he gets the crowd doing it. Then he puts the spotlight on the bride and groom, which I'm proud of Davide. He uses their first name. I'm a big stickler about that. I want to hear first names all the time, not bride and groom, bride and groom. He puts a spotlight on the bride and groom and he kind of peaks the energy. It's a great moment. Let's watch Davide do it.
Get 'em up, get 'em up, get 'em up. Anthony, I really want to see you guys go crazy. One, two, here we go. Have a good time.
All right, just one more hand clapping rap here, prompt. This is Jay Thompson, and he does the hand clapping prompt in the beginning of the cha-cha slide. Now you might say, well, why would you do that as an MC? Because who does cha-cha slide? DJ Casper, I think it is. Casper does it himself. He tells the crowd that, but my philosophy is the only person giving prompts at a party is me. I'm the MC, I'm in charge. The only person giving prompts to my crowd is going to be me, and apparently my DJ is sharing that philosophy. You'll see Jay Thompson giving a great prompt to the beginning of Cha Cha Slide.
Need to see those hands, everybody. Come on, get them up, get them up. Like I said, we're going to start it to the left now, everybody.
All right, so the two main types of prompts are hand clapping, and then the second one, have you figured it out? Is sing-along. That's a sing-along prompt is something you'll do all night long. You'll do a lot of them. There are so many great sing-along songs, choruses that people just love to shout out loud. First one I'm going to look at is a wedding that I did during the song Respect by Aretha Franklin. I get the ladies especially to sing the spelling part, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. The key to this prompt, and really any prompt, is timing. You'll notice how I give the prompt right before I want them to sing it. And that really is the key to making you sound like a true professional. If you come up too early, you sound like a rookie. If you say everybody sing along and you're not at that point yet, you come across like a rookie. And if you say that too late, then you've missed the moment. If that R-E-S-P-E-C-T part starts and then you go, oh yeah, sing along, then you've really missed the moment. So you've got to get to know these songs that you're going to use regularly, get to know them like the back of your hand, and really figure out exactly where you want to give that prompt. Let's check out me doing it at a recent wedding.
All right, ladies, spell it out for us. Here we go. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
So our next sing-along prompt is going to be Marshall Moore. He's doing this at a wedding, Living on a Prayer. And yes, it's a Jersey thing. We play that song a lot. 80s music is hot right now too. But you'll notice something here. Now again, Marshall's timing is perfect. He asks for the sing-along just as he wants it. But you'll notice something else, and this is something I teach and preach with my DJs. When Marshall asks for it and the crowd does it, he says, hey, great job, or that's what I want to see, that type of thing. I'm a firm believer in giving a reward like that. If you ask a crowd to do something and they respond and you ignore it, well, next time you might not get that response. But if you ask a crowd to do something and they do it and you go, great job, or that sounds awesome, or you look great, you've rewarded them. And you're going to be much more likely to get as good, if not a better response later. So let's check out Marshall Moore and Living on a Prayer.
Sing it. Great job. We're going to move it over here. nice. That's what I want to see.
Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, another one of those songs that is just natural to do a sing-along with, you know, getting the ladies on one side, the guys on the other. And we're going to take a look at a clip. Rich Sabner, one of our great DJs, doing the prompt and getting everyone singing along. Before I do that, though, I want to point out something. A lot of these video clips, you're seeing our MCs, myself or one of my MCs, out in the crowd with the cordless microphone, really interacting with the guests. To do proper prompting, you don't necessarily have to be on the dance floor. I know DJs from across the country, not every DJ has that style. Not every DJ gets out in the crowd. Some guys stay behind their table and they DJ from back there. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's not my philosophy, but you can do it. But you still should be prompting on the microphone. As a matter of fact, when we go back to the timing point, if you're back behind the table, it's easier than ever because you can have written down exactly where the chorus of a song starts. You can be looking at your time code and you know exactly if the chorus comes in at 2 minutes and 8 seconds and you say sing along at 2 minutes and 6 seconds, then you'll be perfect. It's harder to do that when you're out on the dance floor because you have to be interacting and you're dancing and drunk guys are you know, putting their arm around you and all of that other thing that we go through, and yet you're still keeping an ear out for the music and trying to get the timing right. But I point that out because I don't want you to see these clips. If you're the type of DJ who does DJ from behind his table and you see these clips, I don't want you to go, oh, I guess I can't do that. You can do it. You can do the prompts from back behind the table. You could never work for me. But this is Rich Sabner and Paradise by the Dashboard. Is probably one of the hardest prompts to nail because of two reasons. First of all, unlike most songs that start verse chorus, We Are Family starts with the chorus. So the first things that Sister Sledge sings, that's not easy to say, is We Are Family. And it's got such a long, especially the version we use, has such a long intro. So it's really hard to nail that prompt and to time it perfectly. Obviously, I'm going to show you a clip where I got it right, because every once in a while I do get the timing wrong on this. But this is a situation, a wedding that I did, and I voice it up, and I prompt it, and my timing is perfect. I get people singing along just when I want them to. Are sick of playing Celebration, right? We love it when that song is on our do not playlist and we don't have to break it out. But sometimes it's requested, and sometimes as a DJ you might even think that it's going to work. Well, if you're going to play Celebration, you might as well have some fun with it and get people singing along. Here's a clip of Jay Thompson doing that exact thing with the Yahoo parts. Again, watch his timing. Jay Thompson is great at timing it perfectly, and watch the reaction he gets from his guests.
Can we get a Yahoo? Not bad, but we're gonna blow the roof off this place, everybody. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I've got one more sing-along clip for you. I just want to throw this one in just in case you're getting the perception that sing-alongs are just for older songs. There's not. There's plenty of newer songs nowadays, and I'm sure there will be for all time to come that have choruses or some part of the song that people like to sing along to. So this is a clip of me doing a wedding, and I'm getting the guests singing the I Don't Care part to Icona Pop's I Love It. So before I wrap up this segment, I just want to make this point, especially with hand clapping and singing along. You're going to be giving these prompts a few times throughout the night, and it's important that you don't be redundant because people will get sick of hearing the same thing over and over. So in other words, a perfect way to get people to sing along at the chorus is to say, hey, everybody sing. But if you say, hey, everybody sing, hey, everybody sing, hey, everybody sing 15 times throughout the night, it gets a little bit redundant. So before you are in that moment and you can't think of anything else to say but, hey, everybody sing, I think a great exercise for you to do is sit down and try to figure out 10 different ways that you can say, everybody clap your hands. And 10 different ways that you can say, hey, everybody sing along. So that you can pull those out of your toolbox when you need, and you're not being repetitive and redundant and saying the same things over again. So that's a great exercise to work on. Obviously work on the timing of these songs so you know exactly where the prompts are going to come in, and you will sound like a complete professional.
Yes.
Nothing. Nothing. Hey, Bill Hermann again, and we hope you liked that. That was Mike Walter and Prompting the Crowd. If you want to know more about it, you can get in on the virtual training stuff that we have available here. Just scroll down on this page, you'll know more about it. Also, we're giving away stuff. Yeah, that's right. Through this whole entire 2 days, we've got a special contest going on, and it's a special online shopping spree that'll just pack your office with all kinds of cool stuff. So get signed up for that. So up next, we've got somebody by the name of Joan Yawang. Joan Yawang is going to tell us more about what motivated us to... Oh, it's John Young. Yeah, he's cool.
I really like that guy. Good evening. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV, kicking off the Summer 2014 Virtual Expo, the DJ convention right to your computer. Tonight you're going to be starting out with a lot of great information from a lot of great presenters. We're going to have 2 nights of great information here, and then if you miss something, you can watch it again. You can watch it. We're going to be doing it again later in the week. Good stuff. Take notes. Be present as you're listening to these things, and be open to different ideas. You're going to learn a lot of different things here from a lot of different talented people. We're really excited to have this out there for you. Now, the kind of the reason behind this, why we put this together, is because we want to bring this level of content and information that you would typically get at a DJ convention, where you would go and travel and take time and spend a lot of money. That level of education, we wanted to bring that right to you, so you can grow your business, so you can improve your business, so you can become that person that can take care of their family, that can run a successful business, that can have the time to enjoy life. And I know it sounds kind of like a one of those little multi-level marketing pitches, but that's certainly not the case. We're here to give you education and give you help and assistance. Why is that important? Well, let me just run through this little thing, and then we'll get right onto the show. For what we do, typically in the course of a year, there's 52 weeks, of course, in the year. There's 52 Saturdays. And for this little example, I only want to look at Saturdays. We're not going to really look at the other nights. But really, there's 52 potential Saturdays you could work. From those 52, we'll be taking out roughly 4 for Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and maybe a miscellaneous holiday that happens to hit on a Saturday. So now we're down to 48 potential Saturdays that you could go out and work and earn a professional fee. But wait, there's not quite that many in most parts of the country. Next, let's take off for off-season. Depending upon where you are, some parts of the country, it's super, super hot in the summer, so there really aren't any summer weddings, and there's some spots, like up in the upper Midwest, where our off-season can range from November all the way through the end of March or even into April. So depending upon how you look at it, there could be, in our case, up to 25, 26 weekends that are off-season up here, whereas in other areas it's fewer. So for this example, I'm going to have 12 Saturdays that are off season that are just completely off the books as something that you really won't be able to book shows like you would during any prime time. So that takes us down to 36 potential Saturdays. Well, let's look at this a little bit more. 36, but maybe there are 6 of those we can take off because maybe there's you're going to go on vacation for a weekend, or you've been invited to a couple of weddings or something like that. So let's take 6 off for vacation time and special events. So that takes us down to 30 available Saturdays for us to go out and charge a professional fee for our services. So when we're calculating how much we're going to be making for our business plan, just as an example, because obviously we work more than just Saturdays. We can work Fridays, Sundays. We can pick up some weeknight work. Let's just say that miscellaneous other days of the week, we're going to be bringing in approximately $20,000. Just for those of you who would be bringing that up, it has nothing to do with this, but I want you to know I'm acknowledging that we can make more money on more than just Saturday, but I want to look at your Saturdays. So let's just throw a $20,000 for other nights out. That put me in the ballpark of wanting to make about $40,000 from just my Saturday dates. So I have my 30 dates. I've got my $40,000, which is what I would like to have because of my business plan's income for working on Saturdays. So that would leave me wanting to make approximately $1,333 per event. Now, for many of you, that's lower than what you charge for a given Saturday event. For some of you, you charge a lot less than that. One of our big motivations for this is that we want you to be able to maximize whatever you're going to be charging for Saturday, whether it's $1,300 or so. If that's what you're charging, great. If you need to be making more on a Saturday for your Saturday time, that's possible. If you don't, that's up to you, obviously. I'm just giving you some examples here. But the idea is that there's a limited time for you to work. If you really look at it, if we're looking at 30 Saturdays, and if I'm going to DJ for roughly 15 years as an active DJ where I'm out there hitting it all those 30 Saturdays a year, I'm looking at roughly 450 Saturdays. That's pretty much the lifetime. If you have children, that's the cognizant lifetime where they're able to engage you and do something in that 15 years before they become teenagers and don't want to deal with you, or they're too small and you really can't do much on a Saturday night with them. What are those 450 Saturdays worth to you? That time away from family, where you're leaving at noon or one or whatever it is you're leaving to go do the event, and you're basically gone. You've got to figure that out. Whatever that number becomes, the idea is we want to help you maximize that number. We want you to basically be able to make the money you need to make on a Saturday so that you can take the time to spend with your family, so you can do things for your family, so it really justifies that time away, because the most valuable asset you have is time, and that time being shared with family and friends is what you're being compensated for. Yes, you're being compensated for your skills as a wedding entertainer and your ability to do these other things, but really what people are compensating you is for you to take time away. In essence, I'm going to use this word, stealing time from your family and from things you like to do, so you can go and be part of their family for the day and help them celebrate. Now, personally, I love to go and help people and do that, but I also realize that there's a cost to me. There's a cost to my soul, for lack of a better way to describe it, for taking time away from my family. Now, if I'm not figuring out what my compensation is properly for that, it's a really difficult thing. So that's something everyone's got to figure out for themselves. I'm hoping that with the Summer Virtual Expo that you're going to be watching here for the next 2 days, that it's going to help you to maximize those profits so that you can balance the family and business and become a better business person and a better performer. Enjoy the show. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News.
That's awesome, John. It's exciting to be part of something that's a first. So let's hope that it's the iPhone and not the Yugo. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you about our next speaker. This guy is terrific. He's from the UK. His name is Lewis Percival, and he's just as smart as he sounds. He's going to be talking about incorporating technology into your business.
Hey everyone, my name is Lewis Percival, and thank you for joining me today for my little virtual seminar, I suppose you could call it, on the Disc Jockey News Virtual Expo 2014. I'm really excited and grateful for being able to appear on this virtual expo, and I really hope that you guys and girls out there enjoy watching all of these great videos that are going to come up over the next couple of days. So today I've got the opportunity to sort of talk about something, to hopefully share some I suppose, experience maybe with you guys. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about today was incorporating technology within your business. Now, I know a lot of people out there are still sticking to the old-fashioned, take a notepad with all your stuff wrote down, write all the details of your venue and gig and all that sort of stuff. But now we've got this technology where you can take something like, I don't know, an iPad or something, or a tablet, and you can have all of this stuff already down there. You can have bits of contracts, copies of contracts all signed on this little tablet that you can literally take along with you. Now that is an example of incorporating new technology within your business to hopefully sort of improve yourself or make yourself a little bit different to something that's out there already on the market. Now, another example of this that I wanted to share with you lot, or guys, girls, whatever, whoever's watching this, was something when it was a family party, and I was looking to sort of have a slideshow of photos. It was a family party, and I thought it'd be a great way to have, you know, some photos up, flicking through, so people as they walk past can see all these different photos. Because let's face it, everyone loves looking at photos, whether they be funny or serious. And I know a lot of people at their gigs these days, especially at weddings, like to display, you know, slideshows of the bride and groom, photos going past. Now, that's great if you want to take a camera and everything, but what I thought I'd do is that this was like a last minute thought, and I thought, I'm not really going to be able to go out and buy a projector screen. That's a bit extreme for this one-off occasion. So I looked around and thought, what can I use? Now, one of the things I had was an iPad for personal use. I bought an iPad for personal use. And I've got it actually here. It's the iPad Air. It's the latest one with all the little fancy gizmos and everything. And I also have an Apple TV. Now, I know with Apple TV, you can actually use Air Display. So what that means is if you've got another Apple device, like an iPad, a MacBook, you know, iPhone, stuff like that, you can actually Air Display, which means that you can copy what is on that device onto this Apple TV, whether it be on a screen or something like that. So I thought that would be a great way. Bearing in mind that a lot of those photos that I wanted to show were actually on my iCloud accounts and already on my iPad, so they're all there ready to go. So what I did was basically connect this up to a TV that we have. Obviously everyone's got TVs these days. Now you've got two options here. You can connect it wired or you can connect it wirelessly. Now to connect it wired, you don't need an Apple TV, so if you haven't got one of those, then don't worry about that. If you've got an Apple TV and you want to do a wireless option, it's pretty straightforward. All you need to do is have a TV, and this is actually working off a HDMI cable. So you've got a HDMI cable going into this Apple TV, and then out of the Apple TV into your TV screen. And then the Apple TV, obviously, you've got the power going into that, making sure it's all powered up. And then you need to connect either over Wi-Fi or with an Ethernet cable. So then an Ethernet cable going into your home hub or your home router, so it's connected up to the internet. Now you don't need to do that, you can connect it all wirelessly, so if you haven't got, you know, an internet cable and you've got Wi-Fi, connect it up. It's really, really simple to do. I don't even need to explain how to do it, because you literally turn this thing on and it pretty much guides you to set it up itself. So what you need to do is, you, like I said, connect it up to the TV. You've got it either on Wi-Fi or Ethernet port. That is sat down, plugged into the TV, so I'll push that over there for a second. And then what you need to do is go onto your iPad, turn it on if it's not already turned on. Mine's turned on all the time. And then what you need to do is you take your four fingers and you swipe up. And what you'll notice across the bottom of the iPad, I can't really show you on this because the battery is actually flat, which is quite bad. But you swipe it up and you'll see like a little TV symbol. Now you press that, and when you press that, you'll see a little icon pop up with the name of your Apple TV. So if you've got your Apple TV set as House Apple TV or something, click on that, and then literally what's on your iPad will just pop up on the screen, guided that on your TV you've got the input set to HDMI. So that is the wireless option, pretty simple to do to get that done. If you want to do the wired option, you're going to need a little adapter, which I think has actually disappeared, so excuse me for a moment. You're going to need one of these, which is a Lightning to VGA adapter. You can also get a Lightning to HDMI adapter, I believe, so whatever you've got connection-wise in the back of your TV, you know, you can get the right adapter for that. Now this little Lightning adapter here goes into the bottom of your iPad, if I can get it in, like so. And then what you're going to need, if you've got a VGA connection on this end, you're going to need a VGA cable. If you've got HDMI on this end, you're going to need a HDMI cable. Now connect this into the adapter and then the other end into the TV. And then what you can do is on the TV settings, you can select the input as either VGA or HDMI, and then whatever is on your iPad will go onto that screen and you can share the photos for everyone to see. Now there you go guys, that was a quick little example of how you can incorporate technology into your business, hopefully try and improve yourself. Like I said, this doesn't cost anything. A lot of these items were for personal use. So if you've got an Apple TV for personal use, if you've got an iPad that you use for personal use, then you can actually use those and incorporate those into your business. Hopefully give yourself a little edge on the market, because the market out there these days is incredibly competitive. So getting a small little edge like that can really, really help you go a long way and impress your customers. There you go, guys. Quick little tip, like I said, using technology within your business. Thank you for watching this. I've been Lewis Percival, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the Disc Jockey News TV Virtual Expo 2014.
Hey everyone, welcome to KaraokeDownloads.ca's booth here at the Disc Jockey News Virtual Expo. My name is Troy. I'm going to be talking to you about all the things that we have to offer at KaraokeDownloads.ca. KaraokeDownloads.ca is an easy-to-use, convenient one-stop shop for all your karaoke needs. And we also are the leading provider of MP3 plus G content around the world. And we have the most comprehensive catalog to help support KJs and any karaoke enthusiasts alike. We also have an amazing money-saving credit system, contests, monthly promotions, and an awesome reward system called Tricera Rewards. And we also have this awesome website, tricerasoft.com, that gives you all your essential karaoke software. So anything like streaming services, players, tools, utilities, you can find it there at tricerasoft.com. Because you stopped by KaraokeDownloads.ca's booth today, we're going to give you free promotions. But remember, once this expo's over, the promotions expire. So go to www.karaokedownloads.ca right now, create an account, make a purchase of a minimum 5 credits. Once you make a purchase of a minimum 5 credits, we'll give you 2 free credits. And then as an extra bonus, we'll give you a free credit if you like us on Facebook, like Tricerasoft and Karaoke Downloads, and you'll get your credits. But you have to PM us on Facebook or go to our live ticket agent on Tricerasoft's website with the code DJN 2014 to get these credits added to your account. So that's how we know you were at this expo and we can give you and redeem you these credits. So that's easy. Go to www.karaokedownloads.ca, make an account, make a minimum purchase like Tricerasoft and Karaoke Downloads, and there you go. That's all you do to get 3 free credits. Thank you for coming to KaraokeDownloads.ca's booth here at Disc Jockey Virtual Expo, and I hope you guys had an amazing time. And just remember one thing, click it, play it, and sing it. We'll see you later, and have fun at the expo.
So far, so good. This is 2 days of this. This is going to be quite good. And if you're just getting in here now, you've tripped upon the DJ News Virtual Expo. I'm Bill Hermann, just one of the hosts. They're going to be bringing all these things to you. Now, if you haven't checked out the sponsors on either side of the video, be sure to do that. If you've not signed up for the great contest, we're going to have a great way for you to have a shopping spree, a virtual shopping spree. You could win that. So sign up for it while you're here. Up next, we're going to go all the way to South Carolina. Here's Jamie Bodie.
Today we're going to talk about time management and how to make your time do what you want your time to do. You see, your time and your money are a lot alike. If you're not telling your time and you're not telling your money where to go, you're wondering where they went. There's only 2 things about it. So we're going to talk about some of the places that your time does go, that you're maybe not catching, and how to avoid those in today's lesson. So, and there are 4 areas where your time goes. There's a quadrant called the urgent and important quadrant, and that quadrant, these things they're really easy to recognize. These are fires that have to be put out right now. These are things that have to be done. An example might be your wedding starting, or some emergency that comes up. Urgent and important quadrant, these things have to be taken care of now. The next quadrant is the urgent but not important quadrant. And these are distractions. These are text messages, your phone going off, that little noise that Facebook makes whenever you're trying to watch a video and you're trying to learn something, or if you're trying to accomplish something and something steps in. Maybe it's a text message or whatever. But that's the urgent but not important. We go to it as though it were something we had to do right away. But oftentimes it's just a waste of time. The next quadrant would be the The next quadrant would be the important but not urgent. This is where your money's made. This is where your health is. This is the most important quadrant, and it gets overlooked the most. This is the quadrant that gets shut down the first. in this quadrant would be things like exercise and planning out your day and planning where your business is going and goal setting, things like that. Dreaming, where do you want to be in 5 years, and looking at that, turning that into a vision. And that's another lesson coming up later, turning dreams into visions and goals. Another example of important and not urgent is a date night with your wife. Can't tell you how many times I've talked to people and they said, we used to do that, but we stopped. Well, the answer is just start back, because it's a great thing to do. Reading also falls into this quadrant, and I'm talking about good quality reading for business growth is more of what I'm talking about there. Things along those lines. That's your important but not urgent quadrant. And the next quadrant is the not urgent and not important quadrant. And things in this category are essentially just a waste of time, and they should be avoided unless they've been planned out. Now, you need some downtime, and I'm not saying that, but you need to plan your downtime so that your downtime doesn't take over your day. Here's a great example of the not urgent and not important quadrant. Have you ever gone on YouTube to look up a specific song or how to do a mix or anything, maybe review a piece of gear, and you watch that video, and there are the little videos over on the right, and you just click one of those, and 35 minutes later, you're either watching hedgehogs or you are watching sharks eat seals and breach. I mean, that's just what happens. That's a great indicator of not urgent and not important, and how those things can kind of take over if you're not careful. So, again, to kind of review, the first category was urgent and important. That's firefighting. Okay, this is stuff that's got to be done right now. Second category was urgent but not important. I kind of call that the squirrel category. You kind of get distracted by that thing that comes up. The third category was the important but not urgent. That's your quality time, and that's where your business grows. That's where you grow personally. That's just an excellent quadrant to spend time in. And the fourth quadrant was the not urgent and not important, and that's essentially just time wasting. And again, we need to waste some time, but we need to be careful about how we waste it. So, we got to be intentional with our time. Even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. So we have to spend our time doing things that are important to us and things that help us out. Because, after all, being busy doesn't make you productive. I know a lot of people that are busy, but they're not necessarily productive. In order to be productive, you need to be doing the right things at the right time. That's what makes you productive. As with money, with time, you have to say no to some things now so that you can say yes to better things later. It's just the way it works, but it works every time. If we're out there trying to do every single thing, we won't accomplish anything. We have to choose wisely, and we have to be intentional with our time. Remember, with time, with money, with almost anything, a successful life is a disciplined life. Show some discipline, put things in the right order, and things work out better in the long run. So now we've covered the problem, but we haven't come up with a solution. So what's the solution? Here's one solution, and there's more than one, but here's one that works really well. And this is what, I believe I learned this from Dave Ramsey, and it's the prioritized to-do list. And it's quite simple. Just make a to-do list. All right, put all the things on it that you need to do. Then what you do is put the letter A beside the things that you need to accomplish today. The things that have to be done today, get an A beside them. Put a letter B beside the things that it would be nice if they were done today, but they don't have to be done today. Make sense? Put a letter C beside all of the others. All right, so you've got your list. You've got an A, a B, or a C beside everything on your list. And now what you're going to come back through is you're going to look at all of your A's, group them together. Put a 1 beside the first thing that you need to take care of today. Put a 2 beside the second thing, and a 3 beside the third, and so on and so forth. until you're through all of the things that have to be taken care of today. When you get to the B's, you simply do the same thing again. On your list of B's, those things that it would be nice if they were done today, but they definitely have to be done in the near future, those things, you put the most important one, the one that you're going to do today if you have a chance, that gets 1, so it's B1. The second most important B item becomes B2. The third, B3, and so on and so forth, and you do that with your C's as well. And so everything has a letter and a number beside it, so you've prioritized your to-do list. Now once you do this one day, it's not too hard to move it over to the next day and just move the things off that you did yesterday and then move the things up that may have been B's yesterday that are moving into that A category that has to be done today. So all of those are done. You've looked at them, and as you go through your time, you take the A's, 1 through whatever, then you start on your B's, and then you move on to your C's if you have time during that day. Now here's a caveat. If things that are B's and C's don't make it into the A column, then we have to start rethinking them. Why aren't they making it onto the A list? Why aren't they getting into things that need done today? Oftentimes, these are things that either need to be rethought because they're just a bad idea and we're never really going to get around to them anyway, or they need to be delegated to other team members who can take care of it better than we can and go ahead and just get them done. All right? Pretty simple. Make a to-do list. Put A beside the thing that he's done today, B beside the things that we'd like to get done today, and C beside everything else, and then prioritize them with a number beside the first one that you want to do and the second one, and so forth. So as you look at that and you set your day up like that, you can become much more productive because you're actually looking at what you want to get accomplished today, and you're doing the things that need to be done as opposed to going willy-nilly throughout your day trying to figure out what to do, falling into some of these traps that these other quadrant traps that may catch you if you're not careful, especially the not important and the not urgent trap. So, if you're intentional with your time, it's a lot easier to get things done that are important. And it's a lot easier if you're setting them up with this prioritized to-do list to know what things aren't important enough to either 1, keep on your plate, or 2, do they need delegated out to another team member. Just one quick idea on time management. I promise you, if you'll try this for 10 days, if you'll take Jamie's 10-day challenge and you'll do this for 10 days, you will be excited about it and you'll be happy that you did. I hope you guys have a great time. Hope you spend your time wisely. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, Jamie. That was some great information on time management. If you like what you heard from Jamie, he's one of our disc jockeys who are going to be part of the virtual training. You can go down below. There's a link. You can sign up for more information about that. It kicks off August 1st. That'll be monthly training coming right to your computer. Great stuff. We also have the contest link down below. We're going to be giving away a shopping spree. We're going to be giving away some gear. Sign up down below. You're going to get a chance to win some really, really cool stuff. Up next, we have Jason Jani. Jason Jani, of course, runs a large mobile company out in the New Jersey area, and he's a good friend who does a lot of really high-end events. And we've got him coming to you today talking about video blogging.
What's up, everybody? Jason Jani from the SCE Event Group, and today I am pumped to talk to you guys a little bit about one of the most impactful and successful marketing avenues we have ever introduced to our business here at SCE Event Group. And what I'm going to be talking to you guys today about is video blogs. Video blogs, vlogs, also referred to as vlogs, depending on who you talk to, have been something that has totally transformed and allowed our business to grow in a lot of different ways. One of the most incredible tools that we've incorporated into our business fold, the business practices here at SCE, not only for weddings, but for some of our other divisions as well, such as teens, Sweet 16s, and corporate portfolio items, as well as lighting and other things. So I want to talk a little bit about video blogs. So what is a video blog? A video blog is a behind-the-scenes tour of someone's event. we started getting into video blogs because we were often asked by couples, by clients, by people who were planning events, if they could ever come and see us perform at someone else's event. And as you all know, that's something that we don't like to do. We don't like to open up the doors to promote ourselves to someone else for a number of different reasons. First off, we don't want people to crash parties. Second off, depending on when they come in, would depend on what we're doing. At SCE, we take a lot of time to design our events around our couples, our clients, and everything. So if they didn't fit with the vibe or fit with the exact kind of vision of the client that we were working with, it could impact us in a negative way. So came up with the concept of doing these behind-the-scenes tours of someone else's event, and a video blog is what happened. So I want to talk to you about some of the things that we use here at SCE to prep our team to get the most out of the video blog experience. So I guess kind of stepping back for a moment, in order to shoot a video blog, you're gonna need a camera, a video camera, and it could be a home camcorder or it could be a digital SLR camera, which right now these are pretty inexpensive and they shoot very high quality HD footage. Over the years, we've evolved from that home kind of camcorder look to the professional digital SLR camera with multiple lenses to get different frames and different video looks. And I can tell you that if I was to go back in time, and rather than investing $500 into a home video camera, knowing what I know now, I would have invested $5,000 into getting the best camera I could possibly get. The technology has come such a long way since 2008, 2009 when we started doing these things. Now you can get a great digital SLR camera for $1,000 or less, and you can get lenses range in all different prices. But yeah, so in addition to your lens, your camera, things that you might need: an external microphone, a light source if you're not familiar with adjusting the settings on a camera, which we might do a follow-up video to this in the future, as well as a stabilization source. And we prefer to use monopods here with our digital SLR cameras. It helps keep the camera nice and secure so you can hold shots and not have them shaking all over the place. If you use your hand and you kind of are breathing or walking, the camera can shift a little bit, and that could impact the way your video is looked at or viewed at. Okay, so kind of stepping back. So in order to shoot a video blog, to set it up, we need to make sure that you do a couple things. And one thing that we always ask of our clients is for their permission. I think that's a big part of getting this whole thing started, right? We want to make sure that we have the permission of the couple, the client, the event thrower, the party planner to videotape and to use the footage that we capture for our own promotional uses. I think it's important to do because you don't want to shoot someone's event and then share it with the world and have it out there without someone's permission. Second off, I want to make sure that when we do video blogs, we don't in any way ever sacrifice the quality of the presentation that we're doing from an entertainment perspective. So we staff our events with additional resources just to capture the marketing material for our video blog use. And finally, the third thing that's essential into producing a great video blog is when you're on site, if you've already obtained the permission of the couple, the client, the event planner, is to take the time to let the other professionals know what you're doing and why you're doing it so you don't interfere with them. And I'm talking about your colleagues that are photographers, videographers, or cinematographers that are there on site. It's so important that you do not interrupt what they need to do to achieve their job for that celebration or that event, and you want to make sure that you're transparent as possible. So once you have those things kind of set up, you're ready to kind of shoot. Now at SCE, we like to do a couple different things, and our vlogs change. There's no one recipe to a successful video blog, and I think the way the event tone goes or the type of event it is all impact the way you basically display this to anyone that's going to be viewing it. So I think there's a couple important parts to a video blog. One, an introduction, and it could be yourself in front of a camera just basically explaining what you're doing, why you're doing it. I like to share not only where we're at, but I like to share some of the services that we're doing and anything that's like really, really cool about that event. I like to offer that in the title, as well as I'd like to document a little bit about the music kind of tone for that celebration, just in case the person that's viewing it is not in line with the type of celebration that you're throwing. At least they kind of have a little background as to why you're doing what you're doing. After the introduction, I like to do a soft tour of either the property, the room, the services that are offered, and or just get right to the meat and potatoes of the overall event. And that's showing your event highlight footage. When we do this, at SCE, we like to show packed dance floors, bride and groom dancing, people smiling of all ages. We like to showcase the wide variety of music that we put together for our couples, our clients, our events. I also like to focus a little bit of time on some of the unique features of the event. So if there's a really cool segment where we're doing custom audio, or if we're doing something else, I like to kind of show a small snippet of that in the overall production, just so people can see it. Now, if we're at a location that we're at a number of times annually or monthly, I like to differences of what we've done for that celebration or event in comparison to maybe something else. So if a client or a couple is touring our video blog portfolio and they happen to see something, they can at least get an idea of what the room looks like with the different service options or offerings available. Kind of moving past that, I like to do a closing, and whether that's the final song of the celebration or kind of the energy level towards the end. And another thing that we like to incorporate quite a bit is a testimonial. And the testimonial from the couple, from the parents, from someone that's at the event. Now, this can be somewhat of a controversial topic because we're here helping people celebrate the best times of their lives. And sometimes couples like to enjoy themselves and they drink a little bit. So you have to use your discretion. If someone is absolutely hammered, I might not do a video testimonial of them because it might not reflect well on both them as well as our service and what we're doing for them. If someone is coherent and together and everything, I always invite and I ask my couples to offer a few, words about their experience working with our company. When I set that up, we always ask them to introduce themselves, where they got married, and then we offer them whatever they'd like to say about their experience working with myself, Jason Jani, or any of our hosts here at SCE, as well as the company. And it's really awesome to hear what people have to say right there. Now, a couple of things. When we're doing these video blogs in our introduction segment, when we're talking and everything, I think you don't have to be a pro in front of a camera. If you mess up, if you flub, if you misspeak, it's okay to show that in a video blog. And the reason why I say that is because it makes it a little bit authentic, right? People love authenticity. So if it's perfect all the time, fantastic. But if every once in a while you trip on your words, you just kind of get jammed up, it's okay to kind of roll through it. It lets people know that you're a real human being and whatnot. You'd be amazed on how many people watch these things. And one of the really cool things about video blogs in general is they act as 24-hour-a-day, 7-day a week marketing opportunities for your business when they're placed on social or media outlets like YouTube or Vimeo. People search these things and they look at this, and I can't tell you how many events we at SCE have reserved, not only for ourselves, but we've actually turned couples onto certain venues just by them seeing what we've done for other couples there. So kind of moving on a little bit, just kind of summarizing this and keeping it nice and tight and short and sweet. When we do our highlight footage, there's a couple different ways that you can approach this. If you have a great external audio recording ability or a microphone, I think it's really effective to showcase the music that's being played at the event. I've seen a lot of great people do a lot of cool different things where they've used royalty-free music to support the flow of the actual highlight or video blog summary. I like to personally show off the music that's being played at the event, and I think it really kind of shows you the depth and the type of experience people have, the impact that song had on the event at the time. When you use music bed, there's nothing wrong with it. I just think it's always something a little bit different, and people don't really get the true story of what happened at that celebration for them. Now we talk about shots and highlighting certain things that are taking place at events. There's a lot of different things that we like to do. So obviously showcasing the venue, showcasing the setup in the venue. I like to use a lot of really wide angle shots. So one of my favorite lenses is a Canon L series lens. It's a 24mm lens. And on a full frame camera, that provides this really, really wide shot. So when we put it on a monopod and you stand back off the dance floor, you can see the entire dance floor and you can see the entire room end to end in most cases. There are uses for lenses that are a little bit tighter, like a 50mm lens or even greater than that if you want to have some little tighter shots and show more reactions of individuals or couples dancing on the floor. I like to always have the shots move around quite a bit. We don't stay in the same spot and record the same kind of angle all night long. I like to hold our shots for a minimum of 10 seconds. So one of the pieces of guidance that I give to our team is for them to hold the shot for 15 seconds. And I ask them not to move. If they do a pan shot, it's cool to do it nice and slow, but we don't go too fast because when you're editing this, you want to make sure that you're able to kind of fully show that segment of time. Now that we're talking about editing, there's a lot of different software programs out there to kind of tie this all together. We do all of our editing in-house here at SCE. We all prefer either iMovie or Final Cut Pro. We're all into Final Cut, and that gives you a lot of flexibility, and you can really do quite a bit to edit the film if need be. In terms of length and putting this together, there is a need to produce a very long video blog every once in a while. My personal sweet spot would be 4 minutes or less. I feel like that usually captures the attention span of most people. I like to always warehouse the footage that we have for that event on a hard drive that I have accessible when we meet with our couples. If they do want to see more, we're happy to show that to them unedited. But when we do video blogs, we want to make sure it's an event highlight, right? So if you do an introduction, which might take 30 seconds to a minute, 2 minutes of video footage of the actual celebration highlights and the things that you have going on, and 30 seconds to a minute of a testimonial from a couple, that to me has always worked the best. Now, we've had some success doing video blogs that are 6, 7, and 8 minutes long. There's been some events that we have 2 video blogs for the same event that have all been extended. There's no right way or wrong way. And I've seen a lot of people do some really, really cool things, not only at SCE, like our colleagues here and our team here, but some of our friends in the business, like Steve Moody and Mike Walter and his team at Lee have done some nice job putting things together. So that's kind of it. It's a very quick little video here on video blogs, why you should do them, what they are, kind of some tips, some tricks and everything. If you happen to have any questions, I welcome you to send me an email. I'd love to answer them if I can, or you're welcome to connect with me on any of the social media networks. I'm happy to share any information I possibly can with you. So my name is Jason Janai. My email is jason@SCE Event Group. You can find me at Jason Janai pretty much anywhere, and if we're not connected, I'd love to hook up with you on Twitter and Instagram. And the name of our company is the SCE Event Group, and you can find us online at scefanpage.com or sceweddings.com, and we're excited to link up with you there. So if you have any questions, let us know, and thank you so much for watching.
You know that Jason Janai, he's like a piece of artwork himself, isn't he? Just amazing. I love it. I could watch his video blog for hours. In fact, okay, I'll do that later. But right now, I've got a couple things I got to tell you to get you to our next presenter. If you're having fun and you're really enjoying this virtual convention, this virtual conference that we're doing, I really want to invite you to really check out one of the live conferences. Because I remember my first experience when I went to a convention. It was a MAP DJ, a regional convention, and then I went to the Mobile Beat convention and been to others since then. It was more than the seminars. It's the amazing people that you meet and the ideas that I I got, and it was just incredible. It changed my business, it changed my life, it changed everything, and it's really extraordinary. So make sure you check one of those out. Coming up in August, like really soon, is the DJ Times Expo. Go out there, East Coast. It's a great big show. You'll meet more DJs than you've ever met in one room in your entire life, and be able to talk DJ for hours. It's the best. Now, let's move on to our next speaker. This is really going to be exciting because my next speaker is Brandon Stewart, and he's going to get a little techie on us. He's talking about making stringer cables. Yeah, you'll want to watch this.
Hey guys, today we're going to be designing some stringer cable. I'm with a good friend of mine here, Randall Stout Entertainment.
Hello.
Based out of Grapevine. One of the finest DJs here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I actually model from this gentleman here, and he's been in the business a lot longer than I have. So, yeah, he's pretty cool. You want to tell me a little bit about yourself?
I'm Randall Stout. I've been a DJ, I guess, for about 24 years, and Brandon has asked me today to help him with making some power cables. It's something that I've always done just because I've got that geeky skill. So. And the funny thing is that some of the cables that I made 24 years ago when I first started are still in use today. Whenever you make your own, they always are much better and they last forever. So
that's right. We learn from the best, and we pretty much have. We're gonna design what we call a stage power cable. And what this is, we're gonna have an extension cord in between, a power cable in between each. On these plugs, so we can lay it on top of a trussing rig, as you see above us. This makes it a lot easier for us to hook everything up instead of running too many extension cords and other issues that goes along with that. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started, and we'll show you the progress as we move forward. All right, guys, we solder the ends so we can get the plug-in put on. And Randall Stout is actually showing us the first one here. Learned something new today.
yeah, the convention, green is ground. There's always a green on here. And then there's two other choices. This is 110. So we have neutral, which is white, and then we've got hot, which is black. And on a plug, there's always going to be a brass end. And the rule of thumb is black is brass, always. So that means that you're going to put in the black, or the hots, into the brass. We can also see here that we have a brass screw. So black is brass, always.
That's very cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and get mine started. All right, you guys. Basically, we got. We're still working on it. That one's gonna get one more box, which is the last box. He's actually beating me to it because he's done this before. I got my first one done, and we're connecting them from making these 7 feet apart. So when we lay them up on top of the truss rig, we'll be able to have what we need. But anyway, yeah, that's about it. We're about finished up, and I'll show you out here in a second. Now, Randall Stott has taught me, it's good to be neat, which I do like to be neat. We solder the ends of all the power cable here. Another thing about this stuff is if anything ever falls apart or break or anything like that, you can always repair it. Whereas some of these pre-manufactured machine-made cables, you can't repair. You basically have to throw it away. Plus, you get 4 plugs per 20 amp circuit. So we've got all these. This whole roll up here is going to be a 120 amp circuit. But we know we're not going to run more than 20 amps, so we're going to be good. Just to make it easier to plug in on your rig. All right, guys. This is finished product here. He's putting the last one together. He's had to help me out.
Woohoo! Alright, putting the finishing touches on this one. Four quad outlets, 6.5 feet apart, and a 25-foot end to come down the truss and go to the power.
Beautiful. And the other one worked perfect. It's actually plugged in right now. the American DJ. Part 38, the QA Part 38. Cracking it down. Alright guys, we got it all built up. They both tested out great. Very cool stuff. And about to sign off here. We appreciate y'all watching.
Peace, YouTube.
Yo, peace. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll post Randall's link here as well in the description. Check him out. Alright guys, this is the cable here, stretched it out over the driveway here, and you start with the plug that's 25 foot to the first plug, and every 7 feet we got a 4-plex. So we got 4 boxes on here, and each box has 4 plugs. This is a 12 gauge cable. Very flexible, high quality cable, and you can put a 20 amp load on this entire thing. So, I mean, like I say, we got 3 scanners per cable, as well as some LED stuff. So we'll be under the 20 amp load easy. And got little mamas there hanging out with me. She's chilling.
From our undisclosed location,
Deep underground in Eagan, Minnesota.
in a cave where it's kind of dark
And damp.
A little scary.
I'm kind of sweating now.
because it's warm.
I'm Bill Hermann, this is Jason Jones, and that's John Young.
I'm John
Something
Young.
like that.
Cut 3,249.
So that was a great session there from Brandon Stewart. He has a lot of information about wiring. I learned a lot from that session.
So did I.
Me too.
You're kidding.
No, okay.
There were tools involved. That
I
means
know
that-
nothing about tools and wiring.
Yeah.
I got
I am
the
a tool.
concept.
And you are the eye candy of the group.
I really am the pretty boy.
And now we know who to call.
Speaking of eye candy, I've seen your guys' likeness on a lot of ads going on Facebook and social media right now because you guys are involved with Mobile Beat.
Yes, we are.
Oh yeah,
Tell me more about that.
We've gotten the opportunity to be able to do the design on the redesign on the Mobile Beat Las Vegas show.
It was quite a compliment because it was the very first DJ conference I ever went to, and it became something that became a yearly thing, and my business changed from that day. And to be able to be asked to come back to the conference that really motivated me to not only become the person I am, and for you and I, John, to start conferences here in Minneapolis, and to continue to go back to Mobile Beat for that kind of, it became our conference, and that was a great compliment.
And you know what's really awesome is that we've broken down in the entertainment experience workshops, we've broken down the tools to be able to create an experience, whether it's a wedding or a DJ conference, that is like moving, that's funny, that's fun, that's connective, that's everything that you would want like a wedding reception to be. We can also translate all of those emotions and experiences to that of a conference, only we're adding in that it's informative and interesting as well as entertaining and exciting and surprising, where the audience is in anticipation. And all the tools that we use in the entertainment experience to create that at weddings, we're applying those, which is great about the tools, because you can apply them to any event you do. We're applying that to this show. And where Bill and I got the most excited is that Mike first started off by saying, I want to just throw out everything that I've ever done in the past and start over. Let's just start completely anew.
And that's one of the things about the entertainment experience that works so well with everything, like with weddings or any event, because you can take what you already know. You can take the performing you already do, the show you already put on, and apply these tools, and all of a sudden you can reinvent without having to throw things out and be something that you're not. So we're able to do exactly what Mike Barnacorso, the producer of the show, asked us to do, which is to help reinvent something that we all were in love with. something that I'm still in love with because it was my first conference. Now we get the opportunity to actually reinvent it for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
Very
really
exciting.
is.
Very exciting. If people want more information, where can they go to find out more information about
Go
that?
to Mobile Beat Las Vegas and buy your tickets now. It's only $149 to go now.
Absolutely. MobileBeach.com, MobileBeachShow.com. Buy your tickets now, especially because the ticket price is going up very soon. It's
To
as
like $1
cheap
million.
as it's going to be. $149 is as cheap as it's going to be. And after that, because we're the most expensive ticket, because we're involved, it's going to be like $3,000-$4,000.
It'll be more.
Yeah.
There'll be more. But now, if they get the ticket right now and they get there, are they part of the Bill Hermann hug?
Yes, anyone who comes and buys a ticket, ask me for a hug, and I'll give it to them.
Free hugs.
Oh,
Free hugs.
baby, I'm a hugger.
Bill actually started that.
I did hear.
That guy stole it from him.
I do want to say though, I did hear the other day that not only are you getting a conference pass for this, but you are also getting like all of the material.
Yeah, you're getting video of everything.
A video of every last thing that happened. So think of it, if you buy the ticket for $149, we want you to be there. Come to Las Vegas, please come. But if you don't, and you spend $149, you get to see them all because they're going to be all in video. You get to repeat and see them over and over and over. So even if you buy the ticket and don't come, unbelievable value. But you do want to buy a ticket and you do want to come because you're going to be a part of Las Vegas all by itself. And of course, anybody who gives me a hug gets to try to take Jason's hat and run.
Wow.
That's very dangerous.
No, it's not. He's a wuss.
Puppet Jason may not be too happy about that.
That was my first idea. I go, okay, Mike, puppets.
No.
Let's talk about puppets.
No,
but
puppets.
I got nixed right away.
He's a puppet boy. I don't get it.
There's no puppets. So let's talk about something a little bit more interesting, like winning tons of prizes.
Yay!
Right below there. Go and sign up. Put your email in there, and you'll have a shot to win an awesome shopping spree. And now we've got some great stuff coming up.
Brian Red.
Brian Red is a famous guy in the DJ industry.
He's really famous.
Puts out everything he puts out is always really interesting and always fascinating. It's really awesome that you are able to have Brian Red in the lineup. And he's also a writer for the Disc Jockey News.
Yep, right on the front page.
The print edition and the e-edition.
He's not actually red. I found that out.
So let's learn about mixing music now from Brian Red.
Hello everybody. You may know me from my Brian S. Red YouTube channel. You may know me as BSR. Please just call me Brian. Welcome to Disc Jockey News. Today we're going to talk about music, but not only that, we're going to play some music and do some transitions. I'm also going to talk about the types of songs that I play for my mainstream audiences. Now what we're not going to do today is spoon feed you a bunch of mixes that you can use at a gig, although you might pick up a mix or two. Most of the music I'm going to play is just older stuff, and I'm only playing it for demonstration purposes. The other thing we're not going to do is fire up the turntables and do a lot of wiki. As a lot of you know, I'm a one-armed DJ now. We had a stroke a while back, but what I have done is put some mixes together, and I'm going to play them back for you and talk you through them. And if you have any questions or any kind of input on what you may like to see me do next time, please let me know on Facebook or hit me up in an email. It's more than welcome. Let's get to it. As a DJ who plays to mainstream audiences, I think it's important to keep things familiar. People like what's familiar. I don't need to challenge my audience too much. If there's a radio version of a track that's danceable and familiar, that's the one that gets played. The only exception is if there's a remix of a track that was popular. For instance, Jive Bunny's Swing the Mood is a remix, or a mashup, I guess, of several songs. Glenn Miller's Swing the Mood, Jailhouse Rock's in there, a lot of tunes are in there. That's an exception to the rule because the remix is popular. Another one might be Frankie Valli's Oh What a Night, December 63. The original version of that was just kind of a nice top 40 song, but it wasn't really a dance track. The remix sounds just like the original, except it's got that backbeat to it, and that was popular as well. So those are exceptions. The other exception are things like what I call the Lady Gaga factor. Lady Gaga became very popular about 5 years ago, but a lot of her tracks, quite frankly, were hard to dance to. And the only way that I could please my audience by playing Gaga and keep a dance floor was to do a remix. Now, some of these remixes sound nothing like the original track, but that's not a bad thing. Here, I'll give you an example. Remember Paparazzi? It wasn't a big hit, but it was indeed a song that people were asking for a minute. And this is what it sounds like. Not a dance track. Moto Blanco did a remix of this track that is absolutely beautiful. I'll give you a taste. And I could throw this on during a 128, 130 BPM dance set and totally get away with it. The lyrics were familiar, the vocals were familiar, but the music's totally different and the beat is so much better for my dance floor. You know, some of these remixers out there right now can turn completely terrible songs into beautiful tracks. That's why I love remixers, and guess what? Most of them are DJs. So, to recap, I'd like to do radio edits because they're familiar, and the only time I do remixes is if they're popular or they make an undanceable song danceable. There's no reason that I can think of to play a remix of a track that's already danceable as a radio edit. Sometimes they're improvements. Once in a while it happens, like the tracks I mentioned before. Most of the time though, these remixes are not great. They're very flash in the pan. In fact, if you're familiar with Can-Can's I Beg Your Pardon, big dance track from a Canadian band in the 80s, sounded kind of like New Order. A lot of people think they're New Order, but it's actually Can-Can. Yesterday, I got a release of a remix of this track, and it's heresy. I won't even download it. It's absolutely awful. I can own it because I paid for it on my subscription service. I don't want it. It's terrible. There's no reason to have it because the original is so much better. I don't like it. My audience isn't going to like it. If I ever played that track again at a party, it would definitely be the original. There was nothing wrong with it. To beat mix or not to beat mix? That's the real question. Now, I've met DJs before, DJs who I respect, who say, you know, every party that I do, I start at like a 90 BPM and I increase it throughout the evening into like a 128. Well, just because you can beat mix doesn't mean you should. It's my philosophy that sets should have hills and valleys in them. And if you limit yourself to only tracks that match up BPM-wise to the last track you played or the track you're going to play after it, you've limited yourself in programming so much. Sometimes it's okay to mix. Sometimes you don't need to mix. Sometimes you're better off not mixing at all. I'm going to give you an example. Now, these are just my opinions. I feel that one mix is more powerful than the next, and I'll explain why. I want to play you a quick mix. This is John Cougar's Hurt So Good into AC/DC's You Shook Me All Night Long. Here, give it a listen. It's beat mixed. Here it comes. Well, it was beat mixed, and it worked, I guess, but I don't feel like we created any drama. You can have a small break in continuity sometimes, and it can be a good thing. There are bad breaks in continuity where you totally can trash your dance floor like dead air. There are positive breaks in continuity where you just change things up and people say, ooh, something's different. If it's just the same repetitious beat that gradually grows throughout the night, I don't feel like you've given your audience anything to take notice at. It's just kind of the same thing all night. So you got to break it up once in a while. Here's a different way of mixing that tune. Now it's on beat, but I think it's much better. You let me know what you think. It didn't even have to be on beat necessarily. One song ended, another song started, and we mixed it on the fade out so there wasn't dead air. Now that was a fade ending with a cold start, meaning that it faded at the end, and then the next track just started immediately. There are cold endings too, and when you have a cold ending, there are different ways to handle it. Sometimes you can go ahead and just create a little one beat gap and create some really cool drama, breaking continuity that is positive. Here, I'll give you an example of that. Now, you notice that. AC/DC ended, Pharrell started. Now, I think that this is brilliant to get people hyped up. There are people sitting in the audience somewhere who aren't feeling AC/DC, aren't feeling a rock set. Maybe they're younger, or maybe they just didn't want to get up and dance. As soon as they hear that Pharrell track kick in, everybody knows it. And as sick as we may be of it as DJs, people still love that track and it fills the dance floor. If I would have somehow beat mixed those tracks, it may not have been as dramatic, people may not have taken notice, and it may not have had as positive of an effect. So when do you beat mix? When you can enhance the experience, especially with contemporary dance music. Here. Then we go into the next track. It's my opinion that tracks like this should absolutely be beat mixed, especially when there are clear outros and intros to beat mix with. Now on a song like Sexy and I Know It, the outro is unnecessary. You don't need it. Everybody's heard the song already. You can go ahead and mix out of it. Get out of that outro. But the intro to a song like Party Rock Anthem, people are familiar with. And it builds drama. And then you have this anthem break. Here, let me show you. You ready for the mix? Here. Got an intro and an outro together. A little more powerful than what was going on in Sexy and I Know It. People will notice that. There's a build. Here it comes. Here it comes. Wow. That's dramatic to me. My audiences love that stuff. It just pops and they go absolutely crazy. You know, one trick bag I see a lot of DJs fall into once they start to finally beat mix is they want to beat mix everything and they want to do it as long as they can, and they do the same transition song after song after song. The other problem is when they're using these beautiful extended remixes of progressive house tracks, and they are really cool to me. I love them. I play them for mainstream audiences sometimes for the right crowd. They use the whole outro and the whole intro, or as much as possible, and you create this dead zone between tracks where nothing's really happening. Or the same stuff that was happening all through the song is just happening all over again, and it gets quite boring. You think it's cool maybe as a DJ, but in the meantime your dance floor is going, come on, wrap it up, let's get on with the next song. So I think there are better ways to make these transitions. Here, check it out. For instance, here's the same two songs and they're mixed in at about a 16 bar transition, which is acceptable. We have to kind of get through this instrumental bit here, and then we can go into just a beat so we can make a key change, because we have to make that key change somewhere where there's just a beat. Right there, we made the key change. I did a little bit of a chop to make it happen. And we're gonna mix into the next song, again within 16 bars, which to me is acceptable. A song ended, a song began, and we kept continuity. Now to me this track was always a bit of a challenge because it was a hot dance track in the middle, but the Black Eyed Peas were goofy. They would do things like make really boring intros, like this one, and do terrible B sections that were boring too. So an intro like this, you can absolutely play it as you're coming out of a slow song. No problem. It's kind of cool to do it that way. They're still kind of slow dancing to this until it kicks in. But if you're trying to play it in the middle of a dance set, what do? Well, this is where extended mixes come in handy, or you can make your own extended mixes just by simply grabbing drum loops of radio edits. But most of the time you can find some cool extended versions of dance songs on your popular music services, and simple loops can make them go as long as you want. In this case I had to create a loop, but I had to think about what am I going to play before I play the time dirty bit. So what I ended up doing is taking an extended mix of Guyosha by Pitbull, taking the drum loop and making it as long as I needed to for the intro to the times dirty bit. What I also did is I cut off everything before the spoken word part of the intro, otherwise it would have been kind of long and boring, and it turned out like this. Now I made this remix myself as far as the extended version. You can easily do this with loops and things in your programs. Just get creative. Right here. It's a pretty long mix, but it's not hard to do because it's all 128. It should be pretty easy. Just write it. This keeps your dance floor going. Nobody's standing around waiting for something to happen in the middle of a dance set. So it makes it nice. Here, check this part out right here. You'll hear when I cut it. And we're into the song. Now the Black Eyed Peas had the boring intros and the boring B sections as well, and thank God they broke up. We don't have to deal with them anymore. The thing that you can do is get out of the song during the B. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here is a really boring B section. Typically your crowd doesn't know what to do here. It's almost a negative break in continuity. So you need to handle it. You can get out of the song. You've heard the whole song. There's nothing new to hear. After they're done with this, they're just going to go into the chorus again, which sounds just exactly like every other chorus we've heard in the song several times over and over again. So you can mix out here and you can have fun with it here. Check. That's how you exit that track. That's how I exit that track. Or those styles of tracks with those boring B sections that are unnecessary toward the end. So what do you think? Let me know via Facebook, send me an email, whatever. Give me feedback. I'd love to have it. Now once again, a lot of this stuff is real general for a lot of you. Maybe a recap for some of you. But I hope you got something out of it somewhere. Again, this is just my philosophy on this stuff. Not gospel, just kind of my style, and you're more than welcome to take my style and run with it. And you can do these transitions with whatever songs you want to do them with. That's your job as a programmer, to pick the music. Again, let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. And if you got anything you'd like me to touch on next time, please let me know. Until then, practice and enjoy.
Thanks, Brian. That was great stuff. Now, you want to know more about what Brian has to offer and would like to get more information, sign up for our virtual training. You just click below. One of the great shows you can check out on DJN TV, of course, is Mobile Music Thursdays from my great friend Jason Jones. It is an awesome show, and they talk music. They talk music. Everybody's that's excited about it, just realize that every video that's out there doesn't talk about music. That's not true with Mobile Music Thursday. So every Thursday on DJN TV, check in and say hi to Jason and find out more about what you need to know. And right now I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine from across the pond. Way across the pond. On the other side of the world, down under. That's what I was trying to say. Steve Bowen is probably one of the most famous disc jockeys in the land of Australia. I'm not kidding. I got a chance to meet him online, and then again, when Jason Jones and I took the entertainment experience to Australia, he came and honored us with his presence at our workshop. And it was an extraordinary day, an extraordinary few days, an extraordinary person. The fact that he's here now, I think you're really going to get a lot out of. Plus, I want to see him come to the United States, so send him a lot of notes. We want to see him come here and speak at one of the big conferences here. So this is Steve Bowen, and it's What Do You Do Beyond DJ? What do you do beyond DJ? Tell us, Steve.
Hi, Steve Bowen here. I'm just travelling through the USA at the moment on a tennis tour with my two sons. So I thought I'd just pop in and give you a couple of little tips on some of the DJing that's helped me succeed over the last 30 years. So what is it that you do other than playing music? That was a great question that was posed to me a long time ago. So every other DJ plays music. If you want to be a little bit different, stand out from the crowd, then do some other things as well as play music. For example, do you MC? Do you sing? Do you juggle? Do you do magic? Do you take requests? What do you wear? So all those sorts of ideas. Have you got interactivity? So there's lots of things. You might do fire breathing. It doesn't matter. Origami. But think of something else that you can do that brings entertainment into each and every event that you create. So other great things to do is you might meet with clients well before. You might have several meetings with clients well before so that you know what they like, you know what they want you to do. Plus also you can add a little bit of flavour towards their event. So once again, these are just some of the other things that you can do to create a great atmosphere at your functions. One thing I always like to do is I'm always first there. If you're first in the room, you welcome guests into the room. Whether it's a wedding, whether it's a party, whether it's a birthday, or whether it's a corporate event. Welcome them in, and then they think you're in charge. Other things, you could take photos, and that gives you a chance to interact with everybody. So you go around, take photos, say hi, introduce yourself, and then display those photos straight away on a TV screen or a big projector screen if there's one available at the event. Once again, they're amazed at seeing themselves instantly on the screen straight away that night. Plus also, you might have games, you might have dance-offs, you might have lots of other things that you do to create that really great fun atmosphere. Plus also give out music request forms so people can request for music during the event, and therefore they can actually, you get an idea of what they want and what styles of music is going to work at your function. Obviously, preparation is king. You've met with the clients well before the event, so you know what they like, but also you've got an idea from the guests as well. So once again, these are just some of the ideas that you do, or you can do and consider doing, other than just playing music. Bring this to your event or to your entertainment, and that'll add up a huge, unique idea. So once again, this is Steve Bowen. What else do you do other than play music? Cheers.
Go.
Thanks, Steve. There's some great information there for the things that we don't think about sometimes when we're doing the DJ thing. If you get a chance, you need to check this out. In September in Las Vegas, the Las Vegas DJ show is going to be going on one more time. A lot of us have been down there. We've checked it out. It is an incredible educational experience. DJs from literally around the world are coming into Las Vegas. They're doing the main seminars. There's some special training that goes on. There's the exhibit hall, and there's a chance to come and hang with me. Yay! The LasVegasDJShow.com. It's the American Disc Jockey Association's annual DJ convention. It's a great time. Check it out. Up next, we've got John Simmons. John is from Arkansas. A lot of you might know him online as DJ Woopig. John's a great guy who's been doing a lot of great videos on YouTube, and we've got him talking about advertising with social media.
What's up, guys? It's John Simmons, owner of Crown Entertainment in Arkansas, Central Arkansas to be exact. I want to give, first of all, a big thumbs up and shout out to John Young and all the staff at the Disc Jockey News. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak to everyone that is out there. And I just want to get right into my spiel, and what I want to talk to you guys about today is, are you using the biggest asset that is absolutely free to any business to your advantage? You might be wondering what that asset is, and a lot of times you hear if it's too good to be true, 9 times out of 10 it is. But social media, guys, it's absolutely free, but are you using it to your advantage, and are you using it as a tool that can net you more money? First, I want to start off, there's the big three, which is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. There's also Pinterest, Tumblr, and several others. Vine, Snapchat. There's tons of social media apps out there. It's only going to get bigger as time goes on because social media is just kind of has taken over everything. And I just want to talk about the big three today. And I'm going to start off with Facebook. A lot of you guys have websites. I have a website that my clients can go to view my picture gallery or my bio, even book a date through have DJ Intelligence, or a lot of you guys have a similar program that they can go in and customize their special day. But a lot of you guys don't have Facebook fan pages or Facebook business pages. And I want to tell you why you need one. I'll start off with one of the biggest corporations in America, really in the world, and that's Coca-Cola. And I'm just throwing them out there because they're one of the bigger companies, and it's just a good example. Everybody knows who Coke is. But if you go to Coca-Cola.com, let's say you go there right now, and you go to their Facebook fan page, there's a lot more interaction that can be had on their Facebook page versus their URL website. Maybe 10 years ago that wasn't the case. There were certain special promotions and things that you had to go to their website in particular to get special coupons or whatever. If they were running some kind of sale or something like that, you actually had to go to the website. Now you can find all this stuff on their Facebook fan page, and the biggest reason for that is customer interaction. You can directly interact with your customer from Facebook. Just to throw a quick stat out there, 97% of everyone in this world, we're not talking about America, Canada, Mexico, we're talking about the whole world. The ages in between 20 and 65, all those people have Facebook. It's the biggest social media network on the planet, and what it's designed to do is connect people together. But here in the past 5 or 6 years, they've come out with Facebook fan pages and business pages, and it can directly connect you with your client or your certain demographic. And one thing that's really big on Facebook is if you create a fan page, you can share things with your audience, whether, using DJs as an example, because that's what we all are. You can share pictures and information on different packages, because you can describe to a client any day of the week that you offer you have scrims, or you have uplights, you use a facade, you have special moving headlights. But you can explain that all day long, but a customer, 9 times out of 10, unless they have a theater background or a entertainment background, they're not going to know what you're talking about. And it's a lot easier to put that on your website or your fan page in picture than it is to explain it via phone or email correspondence, things like that. So sharing information on Facebook is vital. And what you can do with that is, once you build your fan base up via sharing, your fans or your customers, they can share those posts as well. I'll give an example. Last week was 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to all the Americans out there. But that was last week. I was off. I did that on purpose. I had some family coming in, and I just wanted the weekend off. On 4th of July, on Independence Day, I shared a post on my Facebook fan page. And it pretty much just said, thanks to all the servicemen and women. Happy 4th of July. Remember, freedom isn't free. That, you get the gist. That's what the post said. Within 2 hours, I had 53 people share that post that was from my Facebook or from my fan page. Now, 53 people may not sound like a lot, but Facebook actually gives you the details of how many people actually saw that post, because whenever your fans share the post, it goes in direct contact with their friends, and their friends see it, and so on and so forth. It went from the 50 so odd people that shared my post, more than 2,300 people actually ended up seeing that post. And that was just a simple 4th of July post. Imagine what that can do if you're starting out a new uplighting service, or if you have the dancing on a cloud. Things like that attracts people's eyes that they're going to share. Maybe their cousin or daughter or sister is getting married in the future, and they share that, and their friends are getting married. You can just imagine how one post can reach so many people in such a short amount of time. And make sure you're using Facebook and social media in general to your advantage, and it could really net you some money. One thing you can do if you want to spend some money, you can target a specific audience on Facebook. You can go in there and enter, the age or demo that you want to reach, the area that you're in. I know I'm in Searcy, Arkansas, which is right smack dab in the middle of the state pretty much. The population of the town is only 25,000 people, give or take. I just logged on to my fan page maybe 10 or so minutes ago, and one of the first posts that pops up is how Facebook can help you build an audience in your area, not just in your town. And it says you can connect to up to 60,000 people just in my area, and my town population is only 25,000. So that just gives you an idea of all the people that you're missing out on in a certain demographic in your area that you could be targeting, that you would not be targeting if you just used your website alone. Make sure you're using social media as a tool that can make us more money, because at the end of the day, we're all in it to make money. I know we enjoy what we do, but if it's not making us money, it's costing us money, and nobody likes that. Another thing on Facebook is the review system. Now, they've just added that in the last year or so. You can actually get your previous clients to go in and give you a review. That way, future clientele that signs onto your Facebook fan page can read about you right then and there. I know a lot of websites don't directly have, if you just built a basic website, you're not going to have a review section in there, or you've got to have your client log into it, or you send them something via email that says, hey, I need you to write something for me. You can go onto Facebook. Your clients can do that without you even knowing, and it's there for everybody to see. And as long as you take care of your clients, you should have no reason to worry about what they post on your review section, because if you take care of your clients, they're going to take care of you. They want to ensure that you keep working the way that you worked for them. So that's the biggest one. Facebook is definitely the wave of the future. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. I suggest everyone out there take advantage of a Facebook fan page. All right, the next one I want to talk to you guys about is Instagram. Instagram came out about 2 or 3 years ago. It has since been bought out by Facebook, so you can use those to directly, you can use those in correlation with each other or in conjunction with each other. If you post something on Instagram, you can have it instantly shared to your Facebook or your Facebook business page. But Instagram is a great tool for sharing pictures and video. Like I was saying before with Facebook, society has become a really visual world now, and it's a lot easier to show somebody what you can offer versus tell them. I can tell a client that I've got the best sound system or I've got the coolest light show, but that means absolutely nothing to them if I can't prove it via pictures or video, preferably video if you're talking about something like a light show. But you need to be able to show your clients what exactly it is that you can do and why your services are what they are, or your price point is what it is. A lot of the cheaper DJs are, I hate to call them bottom feeders because we all started somewhere, but a lot of the startup companies aren't going to be able to show their clients what they can do because they don't have a lot of experience under their belt. Instagram is a way that you can show your clients what you can do because you've went out and performed, and you've got the reputation. And if you've got the reputation of a great entertainer, you should be able to show your clients that in real life. One thing that's really big now is using hashtags. For all you older guys, it's pound symbols, or everybody calls them hashtags. What you can do to promote yourself or promote your business is use hashtags to your advantage. A lot of times, if you're just taking pictures or video on Instagram and you don't include hashtags, your pictures or video don't really get picked up. But once you start including your hashtags and leaving your own personal touch on your media, more people pick it up. What I've done and what I highly recommend is hashtag yourself. Create a trademark hashtag that is unique to your company. My company is Crown Entertainment. My slogan is Crown Yourself, so I now use hashtag Crown Yourself in all of my pictures that I take. I tell my clients if they've got a lot of younger guests that are going to be getting on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, use hashtag Crown Yourself. That way I can use that for future events. It makes it kind of cool. They kind of think it's a personal touch to their specific event, when really in general only thing you're doing is using your client to promote you, and that takes a lot of guesswork out of it, and it takes a lot of work in general out of it, because they're doing the work by using their pictures and their tools to make you look good. Because if everybody's having a good time and they use your hashtag in whatever social media that they're using, it gets broadcast all over the world. So that's something that I highly recommend. I've already mentioned that you can connect to it via Facebook, and it's branding yourself with the hashtags. Now, The last one I want to talk about is Twitter. Twitter is something that is also really big now. A lot of people use Twitter instead of Facebook, especially with the younger crowds. But everybody uses all three in conjunction. I would highly recommend any club DJ or younger DJ that connects with a younger audience to have a Twitter. Twitter is good because you can use it in real time, have real-time updates, keep in contact with your club crowd or whatever crowd you're using. Another good thing about Twitter, I got a fly on my face. Another good thing about Twitter is it's something that you can use to take requests while you're actually performing. So if let's say you're set up at a middle school or a junior high, prom, whatever, club, you can have people tweet you their requests instead of getting bombarded at the booth or using the old time pen and paper. Sometimes you can't understand people's writing or things like that. I highly suggest a Twitter just for that alone, just for taking requests. Nobody wants to see you at a gig on your phone, but if you keep it hid behind your setup, if you use the facade or you're kind of secluded, it works out good. You can check your phone and you'll get a notification whenever somebody tweets you something, whenever they use your name in Twitter. So, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, social media, it's absolutely free. It will absolutely work to your advantage if you take the time to understand it and use it as need be. And one thing you can't do is you can't become stagnant in your social media posts. Don't have one post a month. Try to make it one post a day. What I try to do is something, post something that per day, that way your fans know that you're interacting or you're trying to interact with them. If it's nothing else than like a new Music Monday, I always like to do that and copy and paste the YouTube link. Maybe it's a song that people haven't heard of. Maybe it's a song that you think is going to be a big hit. I'll copy and paste it and share it throughout my social media networks for my company. And it kind of gives a little interaction, kind of makes your clients feel like you care about them. Because you don't want to become stagnant. I guarantee you, if you go to like a Coca-Cola or Red Bull or any big company, if you go to any of their social media pages, they're not letting their page go for more than, I'd probably say, a day or two without posting something. So make sure you stay in contact with your clients. Make sure you stay up to date with your with all your information, and just most importantly, make sure you're using it, because if you're not using it, it's not helping you any. And I really think social media is the wave of the future, and pretty soon that's going to be how we're taking clients and processing things and using it to our advantage to make us some more money. So I hope you've gotten something out of this brief explanation or spiel that I have. I hope every DJ out there, company, whether it be DJing or photo booths, MCs, just get yourself, start off with Facebook and just kind of branch out from there. I guarantee you, if you put the time into it, it's going to make you some money. So thank you for tuning in and listening to me. Sorry I had to use this dorky over-the-ear microphone. They look stupid. I hope none of you guys are using it. And if you are, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of you. But anyway, my name is John Simmons. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for participating in the virtual expo. It's been really fun to be able to do this for the very first time and put this together and put this out and connect with you. And the best way you can connect with us, we'd love it, is by signing up below for the contest. We have a great shopping spree, great prizes from our sponsors, so much good stuff. And all you have to do is put your name in and see if you win. Someone's gonna be really excited after all this is said and done, and you can sign up right below. If you're really enjoying the content, I wanna let you know that there's a place that you can actually subscribe on YouTube for DJN TV. We've got information on tech with an evening with Ben Stowe. We've got a show on lighting that's fantastic. We have a show on on music, so what people are playing, what people are doing, and then we got a show that's absolutely nonsense and of no value at all, but kind of fun to watch, and that's the Bill and Jason Show, and I'm a part of that one, and quite proud of the nonsense that we do, and so is he. So anyway, Bill just lurks around everywhere. It's kind of creepy, but I'm getting used to it. it because we're friends. Anyway, moving on, let me tell you about our next speaker. Really great guy, comes from Chauvet. His name is Nick Arias, and he's got some great information to share with you on DMX terminators and hanging lights.
Hey guys, this is Nick Arias, DJ Product Manager for Chauvet, here doing a little bit of a seminar for you on DMX terminators. We've actually got a little terminator right here, this guy, and it looks kind of like a DMX connector, except the difference is that underneath here we actually have a 120 ohm resistor wired in, and what that does is that actually kind of ends the chain. Now, as you know, DMX is just a long chain of a control protocol. It goes down all your lights and controls every single one of them, and this completes the chain right at the end. So to terminate or not to terminate, that's the question we're going to answer here today. I personally am not a big fan of terminators. They actually, to me, are just kind of an extra thing, and they're real small, so they're pretty easy to lose, and normally I lose them, unfortunately. So what I recommend actually using is something like this. This is the Chauvet Data Stream 4. This is an optic splitter, so it actually splits out a DMX input into 4 separate outputs. And this way you can guarantee you've got a strong signal going to your lights, going out to all of them, and then you can separate each individual section. That way, in case something happens to one section, you won't have to worry about the other sections. So we'll go back into what actually makes a terminator and why you'd want to even use one in the first place. So each of your lights has this DMX cable strung from one to the other. And as that goes, you have a little bit of a voltage drop with each fixture. And if you combine those, it drops a lot, and eventually you'll start to lose signal. So what a terminator does is it caps the end of it, and it allows for you to not have that signal drop off all the way down at the end of the fixture. So this is a good thing to add if you're in an area with a really high RF or high wireless activity that could possibly influence the wire, and it can actually act like a big antenna, and this caps it to prevent it from doing that. However, if you have a strong enough signal, you really don't have to worry about that. That's why you use something like the Data Stream 4. That'll actually allow you to punch through all that extra noise in the air and allow your signal to get through. If you are having some problems with your fixtures kind of freaking out or not working quite right, this may be your option, maybe a good thing to test as a backup, but in reality this is going to be your best bet. The Data Stream 4 itself, it puts out about 4 volts, which is 4.5 volts, and it puts out 44 hertz. So that's actually the DMX standard, so you get a nice strong signal out of it. Now you notice this has both 5-pin and 3-pin for you pro guys out there, although most of our fixtures in the DJ range fixtures use a 3-pin. So this is all, you have 4 outputs. It's really nice and handy. It's good to just, like I said, it's good to just carry this with you. That little adapter here actually will plug in right on the back end of the fixture here, right on the output, and it'll just sit there and stick out. It's actually supposed to do that. So the nice thing is that if you bring it with you, you've got it as a backup, but in reality you really won't need it. So to answer your question, to terminate or not to terminate, I would say not to terminate. If you have the proper equipment and you have good lights, you won't have to use it, but it's always good to keep it as a backup.
Looking for the next step after the one-on-ones, beginner stuff, this is the place to come.
We really can't wait to implement this stuff, and we know that it's going to take our business to the next level.
Just the content that Mike Walter and that Joe Bunn brought to the workshop, I mean, it's just great.
2 days of absolute awesomeness. Recommend these guys to anybody.
Advance all your knowledge about running a DJ company. The experience was very eye-opening.
I gotta say, this is one of the best workshops I've ever been a part of.
Hey guys, I'm Nick Arias, DJ Product Manager for Chauvet DJ, and welcome back to the Expo, the Digital Expo from DJN TV. Today we're going to talk about a little bit of this clamps thing. We got clamps to attach fixtures to truss, to totems, to speaker poles, whatever it is you want to do, we can do it with clamps, and this is how you attach your fixtures to them. We got a couple of different types of clamps here. I've got my standard O clamp, or what we call a CLP10. This is actually a 75-pound rated clamp. This is actually kind of nice. I like these the best because they come with different inserts that you can actually change the size. They can fit a 2-inch, which is the standard kind of truss tubing. They also come with a 1.5 inch, which is the standard speaker size, like your tripod stand, or they also have even a smaller one, which is a 1 inch, and that fits a really, really tiny truss out there. And that I don't use that kind, but it's still nice to have the flexibility. It also is nice too, you can operate these without having any tools except for the 2 you're given, and you can adjust them and open them and everything just by using your hands, and it's really nice and easy to attach and use on the show floor or at your gig or whatever. You don't have to bring any tools, which is awesome. The smaller one that we also sell here, and I know there's quite a few other manufacturers that make something like this. This is our CLP35HC. It's just a small little 35 millimeter clamp. This is designed for the smaller, generally tri-truss or the much smaller tubing, like arch kits or goal kits or stuff like that. This is nice because it's metal. It's a little bit more durable. It can hold a lot more weight. This one can hold 165 pounds max weight, whereas this one can only hold 75. We also have our standard CLP clamp, which a lot of people just call a half coupler. This is a wide half coupler, which is the more standard size that we offer. Chauvet also offers a narrow one that is a little bit better for getting into some of the tighter spots on your truss. These are nice because these can hold a lot of weight. These are great for your really big moving heads, or if you have to set up something like an array, like if you're using a core or any of the like square display fixtures you can use. These things are rock solid and you can really put some serious weight on them. I've actually seen people even use these to mount their geysers, and they hold up really, really well. Again, this is half coupler, so that means it only has this half. If you had some people call them a cheese burrow or a double cheese burrow, you'd actually have 2 of these clamps, one right below the other. I don't have one of those with me here today, but no big deal. And they'd actually be meant for mounting truss to truss or a pole to truss or whatever. So then you can make your rig a little more flexible and make it look kind of cool. So with this one, you do need tools. You need to have a wrench. Generally, in our circumstance, it's an 18 millimeter wrench. I like to get the wrench with the nice turning, ratcheting part on there. So when you connect it on, you can ratchet it down really nice and tight, and it's real quick and easy to set up. So you don't have to worry about pulling it off and doing it. I know it sounds like a small amount of time savings, but it really does make a big difference in the long run. The other kind of clamp that we also offer, which a lot of people use, is this style. This one's a little bit more unique. A lot of people use these because they're nice, because what you can do is you can actually take this hook, and when you put it on the truss or when you hang it, it actually acts as like a weight distribution for the light itself. So it'll actually hold it in place while you're rigging it and you're tightening it down. It's kind of nice because if you're in a higher spot, or you have to hang your light in an area where you have to really reach for it, you can take the weight off of your arms while you're tightening the clamp down. This one does need a little bolt, I think this is a 10 millimeter wrench on the back side here to mount something to it. So then once you get it mounted, you get the clamp attached, and then you just hang it right up on the truss. It's really nice and easy. The thing that I will caution you about with this one is that because this thing uses this little bolt here to tighten on the truss, there is a chance that you could dent or divot your truss. I see a lot of the CH01s or like the Omni System stands out there that are on-stage stands that are like, they have these little divots in them, and it makes the truss look really bad, and the paint cracks. So I would really caution you about using these on trussing that you want to make look prettier, keep it look prettier. Even just the black trussing will lose the layer of paint sometimes, and you'll get like a reflectant on there. So this one though, it will work on up to 2-inch truss, so you just have to make sure you pull this thing out as far as possible, and it'll lock right in there and hold real nice and tight. And of course this is our beat 'em up truss, so it's no problem, and it holds real good and real strong. So these are a good value, they're a good deal, but they're, as I've said before, actually we'll get a focus in. This is just from me doing this just once, so you can take a nice close look at that right there. You see how it kind of made that divot in the truss itself? Imagine doing that 4 or 5 times in 2 weeks, and now all of a sudden you've got some serious damage to your truss or your system. So these ones, because they go all the way around the truss, they cause a lot less damage to it. You can still scratch the truss up with the metal clamps like this. That's why it's still my favorite choice is the standard CLP10 or the O clamp. So this will actually connect really well right to the truss and hold on, and as you can see, no tools required, and it holds real nice and strong And if you do have black truss, it'll be nice and hidden. You'll never see it. And this will hold real tight too. Little tip, if you're out in the world and you put this on and you find out that the actual truss or the pole that you're mounting to is too skinny to fit in the clamp, you can throw just a little bit of gaff tape or duct tape around the inside of the around the outside of the pole, excuse me, and then clamp it down. That'll hold it really nice and tight, and then you can tighten the clamp down to hold the fixture in place. I'm going to go ahead and take one of our Slim Par hexes here and mount it right up on this truss here just so I can show you. As you can see, really nice and easy to do. One of the things too, there are two different schools of thought on this. Some people like to do this, some people don't. You can take this bracket, you can either have it completely enclosed, you see I have both of them on there, or you can split them apart and kind of use the other one as a handle while you're mounting it. I like to keep them nice and tidy and nice and clean so they're all in there, and then all you see is the cables coming out of it. So I'll go ahead and mount this bad boy up here on the truss. Okay, and there we go. Got it nice on there. You get it nice in position where you want it. Tighten her down, and I always do it in order from the truss to the light. That way you can angle your lights a little later if you need to. So you tighten the clamp here first, right there. Get it nice and tight so your mounting position is nice and strong. Then you tighten this bolt, which mounts this bracket in place, and then once you get the positioning perfect on your light, you crank down your and they don't have to be super, super tight, because if you do it too tight, you'll actually pull the threads right out of it. So you want to make sure you do it not gorilla tight, but you know, tight enough so the light doesn't move. And you can try giving it a little tap and it's not going anywhere. The last part of the whole system is you want to make sure you always use a safety cable. This is something that a lot of people don't do, and I can tell you there's a lot of people that have regretted not doing it. If this light were to fall or the clamp were to break or anything like that, you want to make sure you're protected. And this is a huge liability saver too. If you tell you make sure you tell your guests everything, you always use safety cables and everything to latch it down. The really important thing too, though, is you don't want to leave too much overhang. As you can see, this safety cable is huge. It's almost bigger than my fixture. So what I like to do is I like to wrap it around on a specific spot, and we'll generally go more than once, like this one. It's good and nice, and probably 2 times around you're more than set. Make sure that it clamps in place, like so, and then you can just let it hang. And the nice thing about doing that twice around, it makes it nice and clean so it looks tidy in the way it's supposed to be. So that'll keep your fixture safe and keep you away from liability that could possibly cause you some problems. Other than that, it's always good to just carry a C-wrench or a wrench like this. This is actually not a C-wrench, but if you carry a C-wrench around, that'll allow you to get to these bolts on the back side here, and then you can be pretty much prepared for any bolt you might run into. I think in the future here we'll definitely have to talk about a DJ toolkit of something that you might want to grab and a bunch of different stuff, but we'll talk about that later. So here's a wrench. You got your 18mm ratcheting socket, or ratcheting open-ended wrench, and based on what clamps you get, you can adjust and do whatever you need. So thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys a little later.
Thanks, Nick. Nick from Chauvet knows so much about lights and very approachable as well on Facebook and through social media. Don't be afraid to reach out to him. Well, this is great. I'm Bill Hermann, of course, with the Entertainment Experience, the Bill and Jason Show, and DJN TV. If you haven't signed up for the prizes and stuff, be sure to go down below and sign up. We want to give it away. And so far, you know, the odds are pretty good. So the more you sign up, or rather, the more people that are signed up, the less odds there are to win. But there's not many people signed up, so sign up right now. The next person we have is, of course, Ben Stowe. He's on DJN TV, and Tuesday Nights with Ben Stowe is an amazing show. He has so much information and is so technically savvy. He's almost like a Jedi, and I know he likes that because he's also a Star Wars geek. And I honestly can't say much about him except that his name is Ben Stowe. He's from Northern Light Effects, and I can't understand what he says. I think he speaks Klingon. Those of you who understand Klingon are going to like Ben Stowe. Enjoy Ben Stowe. Ben Stowe. Oh, God.
Bill.
Yes.
Promo the next video.
It's Ben Stowe. No, it's not. It's... Okay. Up next, Jay Brannon with his DJ tip in under a minute, which is perfect because I've been running my mouth for way longer than that. Here's Jay Brannon.
All right, it's me, DJ J.
here. DJ tips in under a minute, going a little long today. We get a situation here. We have laptop, we have hard drive. But while this is being used with the 2 USB ports, with the controller, I realized I have another track on another hard drive. So I'm going to show you what I do to get around the issue of how do I hook up another hard drive to that laptop. Because for me, if I'm in the middle of mixing and playing music, I don't want to stop. So, one of the best cables I've ever bought is that one. It's RCA's to Mini. If you do not have this, you need this. So, I'm going to plug it into the other computer here. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the song, I'm going to bring it up to the player, and then I'm going to play it from there. So there's the track. What will happen is that'll then come up here to the channel, and I'm able to play a track from a different laptop while I've already got a laptop running my controller. So that's more or less the tip. It's something I came upon, and I'm going to get back to you in just a second outside. Ceremony's over. Ceremony took place right there. Microphone, because we're near military bases, I actually ran it wired. And one of the things I do and have done in my career is everything's about getting the job done in the best possible manner. But kind of like where the DJ tips in under a minute started, it was based really on people weren't talking about what they had learned at weddings. And I'd gotten with Brian S. Red and some other people in the industry and said, what have you learned? What have I learned? Can we share it? So it's not a I know more than anyone else. It's really I just want to share things. Because if I can teach somebody to do something better, maybe they can teach me, and then I can get better and make more money. And that's what this is all about. It's about having a good time, but it's a job, it's a profession. Example, there's a system right here. You can see that was the microphone, the speaker, 2 CD decks, and a flash drive. That was for the ceremony and cocktail. I measured it. 83 feet back in that room is my full setup. Now, it would have been very easy to run a cable, put a speaker outside, and call it a day. But it's just, I love having 2 setups because I love knowing that I'm covered. There's nothing worse than being nervous. I'm here in San Diego. We're on the water, so I ran a wired mic just for that reason. That's Coast Guard. You can't make it out, but that's North Island Military Base, and over on the side there's some aircraft carriers. And this is the reality of doing weddings. Sometimes you need to prepare. You need to be ready ahead of time. You need to ask questions. I asked somebody that worked here a little while ago. I said, I'm doing a ceremony wireless mic, and they said, I had problems. I said, great, thanks for letting me know. So that's part of what I hope my channel has become. I hope these videos have become. It's me. I'm actually there. I just choose not to really be on the camera, and I've been asked that just because I'm not trying to show me doing something. I'm trying to show something. So hopefully this will come out nice. It'll show, support DJ News, support DJ TV, support everything that has to do with DJs helping DJs, because that's what it's really all about. The YouTube shows, BSR, Brian S. Red, love the guy. A wealth of knowledge. And it's, we just want to get better at what we do. This isn't one-sided. It's quite two-sided. I want to help you so you can help me. And at the end of the day, we can all be proud to be mobile DJs, club DJs, wedding DJs, whatever kind of DJ you want to call yourself. But be successful at it. Make a good living at it. We deserve it. We put a lot of money, time, and effort into it. I had somebody ask me about renting my gear. And I said, I'll rent all my gear for 10% of its value. And I came up with a number that I felt was fair. And they said, that's reasonable. I said, do you need music? And they said, yes. I said, I'll rent you my hard drive, and I'll rent it for 10 cents a song. Does that seem reasonable? Because it would cost $1.29 on iTunes. And the couple said, yeah, that would seem reasonable. I said, great. Then you do the math. I have 50,000 songs on the hard drive, and I'll take 10 cents a song rental. And their mouths kind of open. I said, or you can get all of this and just hire a good DJ. So it's kind of sad we've come to where we have, but I think it's our job to, educate clients, get back to where we should, and do these things the right way. And it doesn't take much, a little extra effort, My professional standard is I do 1 event a day, and I do that because I want to get here at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, set up, and not stress, not worry. You can do 2 events a day, more power to you. I envy you. I just focus on one, and I just try to do that the best I can. So whatever your standards are, whatever your practice is, just do it, follow it. You know, great weddings and great events take work, they take effort, and, you know, it's within everyone's reach. It's just a matter of stepping out and doing the best job you can for your clients, okay? So, support, appreciate it, thank you. Me, I'm out.
Wow, DJ tip in under a minute in only 5 minutes at the Virtual Expo. That's amazing. Time bends when you're online, so I've heard. We're being technical, right? So let's talk about your voice. This next person that I'm excited to introduce, I've known for a long, long time. In fact, I got to know him when I took his voice class to learn how to speak better, to be able to talk and be able to sound real in commercials. So I don't sound like that guy that says you should buy a car right now.
Wow, that's really great.
Or the guy that tries to speak with a lower end of his voice, but he's pushing it so hard it doesn't sound real.
In a world.
In a world. That was really good.
Thank you.
So I can't sound like Bill. So I recognized that and found that out by taking this training and found ways to actually use my own voice and find out what's amazing about the different registers of my own voice. Your voice is an incredible instrument, and what you're about to find out is ways that you can use it and the potential that it has when you're at events. It's my pleasure to introduce Larry Russo, who's been a voice actor for 30 years, a union voice actor, very successful, and now is bringing the teaching of what's made him so successful to you to be able to use at your events. Here's Larry Russo.
Hello, my name is Larry Russo. Other people have already told you roughly what I do for a living. I'm a voice actor. I coach other performers, and especially over the years, other voice actors, but other types of performers like you, DJs, lawyers, and how to talk gooder, okay? I'm going to teach you some things about how to talk gooder today, and you may find them useful to take away and put to work in your profession. The most important thing I can say is be real, be honest. In today's current parlance, be authentic. And it's not always easy to do that when they point the finger at you and say, hi, you are now the center of attention. If you're a normal human being, that is an experience that will make you cringe inside. And if it doesn't, then you're a ham. And you shouldn't be in the profession. But seriously, when you do feel that natural cringe inside about being the center of attention, you somehow have to find the courage to settle into the situation and find something that you can hold on to that will ground you in being real. What you need to look for is the eyes of one person in your audience. Look them in the eye and start being honest with that one person. Tell them whatever it is you've got to tell them in this situation. You're a DJ, you're there to put on a show, to have a good time, to help other people have a good time. Primarily, you are the impresario of their good time. Go ahead, own the responsibility for the whole show, take it on, and look them in the eye and say, if you'll give me a little bit of attention and a little bit of slack, we're going to have a good time together. So, we're going to talk about being honest, and in terms of my profession. Okay, so we're going to talk about being honest, and in terms of my discipline, what I primarily know and have my chops built around, we'll talk about your voice, things you can do away from the performance situation over time to build a more solid foundation in your voice so that you got some flexibility. Some things you can do with it you didn't have before. And we're going to talk about your interpretation. When an actor talks interpretation, we're saying, what can you do with a line? Can you move through that line in a way that goes to point and show something to somebody in their head? That's your objective. And so many people get caught up in a way of totally unnaturally behaving with a line in the mouth that has to do with words instead of ideas and thoughts and feelings. Words are just symbols. What you're there for is to share thoughts, ideas, feelings. And that's where you want to concentrate. That's your content. inside a line that you might present to someone is a thought, there's a feeling, there's an attitude. Whatever it is, the most important part of it, you want to be able to move through that line right to the point and show your audience inside their own minds the point that you've got to make for them. That's the heart of what we call interpretation. That's where you want to concentrate. If there is any untoward behavior that is arising for you out of the situation of being a performer, you want to be able to identify that in tapes of your own performance and say, that's not me being real. How are you? When you view tapes or listen to tapes of your performance, compare it to you being with the people you know and feel comfortable with. Is that you? Or is this some kind of manufactured version of you that you are showing to your audience? That's what you don't want to happen. Don't give them the manufactured version. Give them the real thing that your family, your friends know. Okay, let's talk about the sound of your voice and how it gets that way. Yeah, there are so many different sounds that could come out of your voice. It's not just the one that most of your friends and family know you by most of the time. There are lots of other voices in there too. And I think a lot of people moving into the performance field understand that a low voice can be of use. And they make the mistake of pushing their voice into the lower range in order to come up with what? Power, intelligence, authority. And in fact, the lower end of anybody's range can suggest that. No, you don't have to have a basso profundo. You don't have to have a really low voice like that guy, whoever that guy is who's known for the low voice. No, to come across like you really know what you're talking about and like you have some authority, it's only important to be able to drop comfortably into your lower register. Okay? If you can use your lower register just by moving into it, you will feel to other people like all of a sudden you got serious about what it is you're saying. They can trust that. That's the part that you would like to learn about using your lower register, and do not feel like it has to be something that you force all the way down there. Remember Ted Knight, the character, the anchor man on the Mary Tyler Moore Show? There is a perfect example of some poor performer who tries to use a voice much lower than his own and ends up looking like a fool. Please do not be one of those. Okay, but if you would like to comfortably use your own lower register, there are some exercises I can show you that will over time add a bit of depth to what you've got already, and more importantly, a bit of smooth comfort that you can feel inside. I can show you some of how to get that started today. It's not going to make a big difference for you today. And I beg you, the next time you're actually performing, don't try to do any of the exercise routines that I'll show you while you're performing. This is for you at home. But over time, it can allow you to become more low and more resonant. We'll talk about the resonance factor in a little bit. Give it a year. Give these exercises a year. There will definitely be a remarkable difference. Your range will increase a lot. Your comfort will increase a lot more. Give it 3 to 5 years. Yeah, and you will still slowly progress and expand your capabilities as a vocalist in ways that you do not have to force at all. It'll simply be there when you need it. 3 to 5 years? I gotta work that? Yeah, you do. Hey, that's what they pay the big bucks for. You want them? Then be willing to invest in your craft a little bit each day over a long period of time in 100 different ways, and you will get ever so much better at everything you do. Okay, let me remind you of one other thing that a lot of beginning performers do, and some never give it up. They are so frightened by the mere idea of being live, on the air, live in front of an audience, live in any way where they are totally exposed, that they are afraid to even pause naturally. They're afraid that if they shut up, their voice won't restart again, or if they stop talking and stop smearing one word into another in some version of what I'm trying to remind you of right now, they won't be able to think of the next thing to say. Well, that's okay. There are natural pauses that come to anybody, and if you are being honest with your audience, and you don't know what the next word is, the next phrase, the next idea, that you know you do want to express to them, they're going to give you 2 or 3 seconds to shut up. And just look at them. It'll work. You don't have to be so terrified of that dead air. Oh, people especially who come from radio are terrified by the idea of dead air. Program directors for decades taught their crews, you're not supposed to ever have dead air. And live performers feel the same situation too. To pause for a second or two while you think of the next thing you're going to say can feel like you're pausing for a month. I know that. That's where some of the courage comes in. Have the courage to go ahead and be natural enough to pause a little bit, regroup, and keep talking. And you'll be fine in that way. But if your tapes, or I should say, if your tapes find you, show you smearing your words together and kind of unnaturally stretching things out like it, I'm trying to suggest to you that maybe you're afraid to stop, like you maybe won't be able to restart again, learn to see that in those tapes, and then train yourself not to feel that way, not to feel the urgency to keep smearing it all together for fear that you won't be able to restart. Okay, I hope this has made a little bit of sense. Okay, so we're not going to force down into some kind of an unnatural low, and we're not going to smear words together like we're afraid that we can't stop. Those are two things we're not going to do. How about that natural sound? How are we going to go for that? Okay, so in the short time that we got for this session, we can only scratch the surface on that, but here goes. Natural sound is a matter of pitch, placement, and breath control. And you want to become a master eventually at all three. We're going to talk real fast to get all this in and scribble on the whiteboard too. That'll be coming up in a moment. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, so we're going to talk real fast so we can get all this in now, okay? This is a whiteboard, and we're going to scribble on it, all right? This is a cross-section of your throat becoming mouth horn. What did he say? Yeah. The two things together, your throat and your mouth together, form a horn. You can roughly see the shape. Here are your front teeth. Here's your nose, your tongue, the roof of your mouth, separating the mouth chamber from the sinus chamber up above. The back chamber, the back wall of your mouth, and the back wall of your throat. Here's the interesting part. This throat is incredibly flexible. It can drop back like that far. The back wall of your mouth can push out further than the border is allowing me to draw it here, thereby expanding the size of the throat-mouth horn. As you do, you get a bigger voice. Conversely, if you bring that wall really in tight, you get a smaller voice. Wow! And let's say that we take the sound that's coming out of your larynx right here, well, you kind of swallow it, just right into the deep tissue, right at the bottom of the back of your throat, just above the larynx. You end up with a sound that's kind of muffled and pillowy, a bit like this. The great actor Jimmy Stewart kind of naturally spoke this way. He was just comfortable behaving in that fashion, but he didn't have to. If he wanted to have a larger voice, he could open the tube out and direct that sound further up this way. Now, if you wanted to do cartoons, if you wanted to be Mel Blanc and do, you know, the cartoons and the Porky Pigs and the Bugs Bunnies and people like that, you would shoot the voice straight up through the little snot trap there. What did he say? Mom, snot trap? That's right. Actors are vulgar people, I promise. The little place at the high back of your throat that drains when you've got a cold is a passage between the mouth chamber and the sinus chamber. That's why it drains when you've got a cold. But also, you can direct sound right up through that little hole. If you tighten up the whole throat and lean the back wall of your mouth in like this, how do you do that? Well, you feel around till you find the sound that I'm suggesting to you right now coming out of you, and you've done it. You put the sound right up through the little hole, and all of a sudden it sounds very nasally. It's very small. Suppose you don't want to behave that way. The next point, just ahead of the snot trap right there, if you direct the sound to that soft tissue, all right, put the tip of your tongue against the roof of your mouth just behind the front teeth. Run the tip of your tongue backward, and you will notice that just about in the middle of your mouth, in the ceiling of your mouth, up until that point, it's all bony, very hard ceiling up in there. And then just behind it, the wang, it's no more bone. It's just soft tissue in the back half of the roof of your mouth that separates the two chambers, sinus from mouth chamber. So, let's go back to that. If you direct this voice coming out of here, straight up against the soft tissue of the roof of your mouth, just ahead of the snot trap, duh, and that's a good syllable to try to reach for it. Everybody say, duh, you know, like you're coming from Jersey, like you know, Sylvester Stallone's first cousin, duh. That is where the soft tissue of the roof of your mouth will muffle the voice and give it that particular quality of sound. But if you move a little bit ahead of that point, and then a little bit ahead of that, you begin to get onto the early or beginning edge, bony edge of the hard palate. The further onto the hard palate you go, the deeper, the richer your voice becomes. And you will start to feel, by the time you get to directing the voice very near the upper incisors, where they're rooted, you'll start to feel a trembling right here in the mask, the bony mask of your cheeks, either side of your nose and around the nose. This is the area of maximum resonance. When you can get to the point where you direct the voice at that leading edge of the hard palate, you're going to pick up a lot of vibration in the face. That vibration seems to impart strength, richness, and apparent lowness. It doesn't change the pitch at all. This sound that I'm creating here and this sound that I'm creating here is the same pitch as far as what the larynx is doing. But it's where that sound is being directed that gives it the secondary and tertiary harmonics. Oh, he said a mouthful. Secondary and tertiary harmonics. The voice created in the larynx itself is of a particular pitch. It's vibrating at a particular frequency. And then you start hitting the inside of the head from one of these selected points along the way. And each one of those selected points is going to vibrate the inside of your head at a different frequency. The two of them blend together to come out of the front of your face as one sound. So, as I said, is this making any sense that maybe you could actually use this? What kind of sense can you make of it? Let's say you put in some time experimenting with your body. Yeah, go home and play with yourself. You experiment with your body and find these different sound patterns that I just made for you. Well, how are you going to, you got the tape, right? Play it again. Play it again. Watch me do it again. Listen to me do it again, and just keep playing around inside your body looking for the same sound patterns that you heard me make. Well, what's the point of it all? Each one of those sound patterns feels differently. It's going to give you a sound that will make other people feel a certain unique way. And I'm going to trust your performer's heart as you feel, as you play with your body enough that you can start to make one of these discrete sounds. Maybe you want to make this one. Maybe you want to make this one. Maybe you want to make this one out at the front of your face. As you learn all of these different sound patterns, ask yourself, especially when you're listening to the playback, what does that feel like? Your heart will tell you. Each one has a different psychological and emotional component to it. It speaks to not only every other human being on the planet, regardless of their native language. It speaks to animals. You want some authority? Next time you're with your dog, just look at him and say, please, no, don't do that. Or look at him and say, Fido, you're going to get your kicked. You're going to get a totally different response out of the dog, whether if you give him one of these versus if you give him one of these. All right? The sound of authority is something that all other animals recognize. The sound of everything else is something that we as human animals were making sounds at each other and the rest of the world long before we learned language. Can you imagine human beings walking around without the tool of language? Yeah, it's a tool, and somebody, one of your grandfathers and my grandfathers and grandmothers, they invented it. And before then, we howled and we growled and we chirped and we whistled and we did all the other sound patterns that the rest of the animals around us still do. And inside the words that we stream at each other, we still make those same sounds. And each one of them has a very unique psychological and emotional signature. I'm inviting you to experiment with your body, discover the sound patterns. The more you can discover the sound patterns in a way that you can keep returning to it and making them naturally, you can start to ask yourself, what do they mean? And the more that you ask, eventually your heart will answer and tell you. That's when you can start subtly weaving it into your performance. Okay, so we're going to start off with a nice clean slate here where I can just reinforce what we just talked about, and that was, I don't want you to forget the term, the arc of placement, okay? Here's your deep throat, there's the larynx down there, and the snot trap up there, and your sinus cavity, and your nose. All right, don't forget the arc of placement, and that the larynx mounted down in the deep part of the throat will tilt backward and forward, and that this pipe of throat can expand and contract into a great number of patterns. And each one of the patterns will direct the sound coming from the larynx against the inside of the head in a very unique way. Each one of those unique places that you strike the inside of the head with the sound you bring up from the larynx gives you a unique sound. Let's go into the larynx itself, though. We're talking about a tube of cartilage that's about that long, tall in a guy, and a little bit shorter in a gal. It's about that big around, that's all. It's a very small little tube of cartilage which you can easily feel if you're a guy. And if you're a gal, it's tucked further back into the throat in a way that you don't so readily feel it, but there it is, right there. Inside of that cartilaginous tube, you've got two little flanges of flesh that most of the time are out of the way. Let's see if we can do this properly. They're out of the way like that, so that you can breathe, and the air will pass through the larynx freely. But as soon as you think vocal noise, not to mention speech, those two little curtains of flesh that are normally making a V shape very open so the air can pass through, they fall together and seal one against another. And they do so in a way that is very similar to, I'll bet when you were a kid just like me, being a vulgar little person, you made mouth farts. Let's do it together. Purse your lips together and got it? All right. When you purse those lips together and then you force air between them, you are approximating the same kind of sound that your larynx produces. The lips inside your vocal tube are much, much smaller than these lips, but the principle is the same. Now, if you really want to go home and play with your lips, try this. The tighter you push the lips together, the harder you have to push the air to come through, and the higher the pitch goes. Conversely, as you loosen the lips but continue the pressure, the lower the pitch. We don't use our lips to make these kind of sounds real often, so they are not disciplined in doing so, but your laryngeal folds are. And that's the whole principle right there. You tighten up on the laryngeal folds, the pitch goes higher. You loosen up on the laryngeal folds, and as you push air between them, the pitch goes lower. Now, here's what you can do exercise-wise at home to discover what nature gave you. You want to go up and discover the ceiling, the highest pitch you can make. Fool around with it for a day or so, just until you decide, I can't go any higher. Ah, 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 oh my God, it sounds like the man's got into a death rattle. It's called a fry. As you descend in pitch, as I just demonstrated for you, there will come a point where you got a relatively low pitch for you that is still sounding clean and clear. Now I'm choked up. But once you get below that last note that you can make clearly and firmly, the vocal folds have gotten so loose, they are now blowing in the wind that you're forcing through, and they're reaching toward each other and barely touching, which is where that death rattly sound is coming from. It's called a fry. When the vocal folds cannot firmly approximate, that is, squeeze together, any longer, but they're almost touching and you're blowing the air through, you get that death rattly sound of the fry. And until you hear that, you have not heard your lowest real note go by. And most people who do not routinely go to the very lower end of the register to discover what there is to play with, at first the body resists doing the lowest 2 or 3 notes. It will stop you before you get there. And over a period of days, you have to keep trying to relax. You deliberately send waves of relaxation through the whole chest and throat and face area, and keeps it. Just tell yourself it's okay. Go ahead, experiment, discover, and something maybe inside yourself that was frightened of going to that pitch will loosen up and let you go. It doesn't matter how many days you experiment before it loosens up, and finally you hear a couple more low notes, and then son of a gun, there it is. That airy, rattly fry. And there's your signal. Okay, just before it started frying, that was my lowest note. Over a period of literally months, where you just give this 5 minutes a day and play with it, you will become very familiar with your highest to your lowest pitch. And then you can look at all of them and say, they're mine, each one of them. And you can choose, if you wish, to go ahead and speak with one of your higher pitches, or one of your medium pitches, or one of your very lower pitches. And each one of those you can send along the arc of placement to each of those different places. And son of a gun, when you put 8 or 10 or 12 pitches together with scores of different points along the arc of placement that you can send each one of those pitches to, how many voices are you going to come up with? A whole bunch, believe me. A whole bunch of voices. They're all yours. And they're yours to play with and experiment. When you go to one particular voice, often enough that you feel comfortable talking in that voice, that's when you can put it into your performance. You understand what I'm saying? All right? All right, so we started off talking about honesty and authenticity, and with the kind of options that I've been trying to show you, I hope that I'm suggesting and setting you up to discover, to discover a certain kind of freedom to go ahead and be honest. You put that together with performer's courage in the belly. You see, now you're going to have some skill. Play with these things in the way that good practice always happens. You see, when you focus really hard and tight and say, I got to learn this. This is my profession. This is how I earn my money. I got to learn this or I'm going to be a failure. You'll be a failure. But if you're willing to be playful about all of this, a little bit playful, a little bit each day. Okay, a lot playful, a little bit each day. Over time, you are going to discover all kinds of skill. Skill is always something you can sell. That's what makes you a pro. And when you're in a performance moment and you have skill, you can fall back on that. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to wonder, what do I do next? Am I getting across? Will I get to them? You know you will. You can then concentrate on what you're there for. I think we said this at the beginning. As a DJ, as a performance remote DJ, you are the impresario of people's celebration. You can look at them right at the beginning of the evening or the afternoon whenever you're with them and say, give me a little bit of your attention. I'm going to give you a good time. And you'll be honest with them when you say that. And then you make good on it. You know your music. You know your music really well. You know different things to say in different situations to different kinds of groups that will always get them up and ready to party, right? You put a lot of effort into learning these things. Put a little bit of effort into this, and you will have another tool that quite subconsciously you can make them feel any particular way that you wish them to. Quick review. We talked about the arc of placement, we talked about pitch and placement, and we talked about interpretive behavior that goes to point. Make sure you always have something to really tell them. And then look inside their heads as you draw a picture of what it is you're trying to show them. Always show your audience something, but deal with them one at a time. Don't deal with a group. One person at a time. Always speak to one person. Each person in the audience will feel like you're talking uniquely and very discreetly to them. That feels good. I hope this has been a help. My name is Larry Russo. You can find me if you wish to do some private coaching with me. That's the other part. This is only a beginning, what we've talked about today. Get a coach along the way. That person can course correct everything that you're doing to make profitable, useful, skilled sense out of what we talked about. Thanks for listening.
In a world.
You really did like that, didn't you?
In a world.
Maybe I'll be the next guy.
Yeah, You'll take over for Don.
Yeah, me and Don LaFontaine.
I got the new Don.
I've begun to decompose.
Yes, and he'll say in a bedroom.
Well, that was it, man. That took no time at all.
I know.
I thought it was gonna be longer than this.
But I'm starving. Are we
We
getting
need
more
more stuff.
pizza? You're buying pizza, right, John?
Yeah, it's exactly the best pizza that Totino's makes.
I love
Totino's
Totino's pizza.
rocks, man.
I knew this was going to be a good paying gig. I
Eat
knew
one of
it.
those
I
in
knew it.
like 3 bites and a beer.
Well, that's why he got several. The sad thing is, there's no zesty Italian anymore.
What do you want to
The combination,
get
right?
one.
Tomorrow night we're gonna be back.
8 o'clock Central.
8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m.
Other
Pacific,
times.
and 9 p.m. Eastern.
Check your local
There's
listings.
a mountain in there that Bill doesn't remember.
2 a.m. in England.
Bookmark it and set a reminder on your smartphone.
6 p.m. in Vegas.
I think it's definitely time to eat, John.
I'm thinking so.
I'm not a big eater.
All right. Sign up for the
Don't
contest
laugh.
before.
You're laughing.
There was a joke. I just heard someone say a joke down the hall. I'm sorry.
Fine, sign up for stuff. John's thing, he makes a comment about my weight, and now I gotta tell it how awesome this is. You sign up for the stuff on the side, you sign up for the stuff for the contest, you sign up to be here tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and if you're lucky, I will have lost 3 pounds.
All right, I'm gonna go eat. I'm done.
We're done. Out of here.
You're leaving? It's just us? Goodbye.